turn myself a little bit here. Sorry, Mark. Okay. What is up, Friday Nighters? Welcome back to another episode of Just Another Friday Night. I am one of your two hosts, CM Chuck. If you don't know already, now you do. Welcome to the show. Alongside me, as always, my podcasting co-host, AA Adamantium Adam.
What's going on?
And you might be saying, who is that handsome gent in the middle? Well, we've talked about him since we started on day one. His mere presence is part of the inception of this very show, guys. Mm-hmm. Sitting here beside us, a man that we've known for over 20 years, a man who I personally look up to, consider a friend, Mario Delgado of Authority Comics, Super Mario himself. Mario, say hello. Welcome to the Friday Night Faithful.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me, guys.
Guys, what? I'm excited. This is a red letter moment.
Yeah.
We're rocking our ball caps here, courtesy of the man.
I'm excited too.
Good. Mario, guys, this has been a long time coming.
Yes,
this is the first interview that we ever wanted. Mm-hmm. We'll get into that a little bit. At the time, Mario wasn't ready. But now he says, I want to talk to you guys. I like what you're doing. And I think he wanted to see, we make sure we had some success first.
You guys are doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you. I want to make sure it wasn't totally in the toilet.
Since day one.
Awesome, guys.
I'm proud to be here.
We want to let you know what we're going to do is we're going to get right into our show and our topic. This used to be a pre-show. Now it's just the regular show. We're recording for our podcast. And we're recording
it is just another Wednesday night tonight.
Correct. You may be listening to this on a Friday on your Christmas day, but it is not. It is actually Wednesday, but we made it a time we can come out here and be in Mario's shop when it's closed and there's nobody here making special accommodations for us. Mario, we really appreciate that.
It's Wednesday night and it's Comic Book Wednesday.
Yeah, that's right. Comic Book Wednesday. So maybe you guys got a chance to get out and get some stuff. Guys, please, any questions you have for Mario, please write them in the comment section. Any shout outs or what ups you want to hear, let us know. Let us know how the sound is. We got the wind going on outside. We are out here at Traders Village, where Authority Comics lives. So if you hear any ambient noise like that, let us know. Anything goes wrong with the video, the visual, let us know. We're going to address all the comments and questions at the 30-minute mark, and we're going to do that every 30 minutes after that for as long as we go. We told Mario we're doing it Joe Rogan style. You ever heard Joe Rogan, Mario?
Yes.
He does a podcast, just goes and goes and goes, man. He's got 4-hour episodes with scientists talking about everything under the sun. So, guys, we're here for you tonight. It's the Christmas Eve. So it's the night before the night before the night. And this is our present to you, coming to you a week early with the man. Man, I don't even know where to start. Mario, we met 25 years ago.
That's true.
You were in a little shop on Southwest Military. You moved up. You gradually got into Southeast Military. Tell us how it all began. I mean, were you always a comic book guy? I mean, was that your first... I'm a little boy, I want to grow up and own a comic book store. That's what I started to think when I met you. I was like, I want to be this guy when I grow up.
Honestly, I mean, I was such a huge fan at a young age. I really never had the dream. You could have asked me that when I was a child, if I was ever going to be, selling comics or anything like that. That wasn't part of the dream.
Yeah, right.
I was just enjoying comic books from a very young age. 7 years old, I was a monster fan. You know what I mean? And when you all of a sudden see Werewolf by Night, Tomb of Dracula, you're like, these comics are cool. Because when I was a child, I was just watching Project Terror on Friday nights.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
You was a real old school
that used to
horror
just
guy.
scare the heck out of me just when it started.
Yeah, man.
So that just transformed into comics. And then if you're reading Marvel horror, you're going to be introduced to superheroes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And before you know it, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four was my first book.
Okay.
That was the stuff that started it all for me. And then, I mean, you name it. I just went full speed ahead from 8 years old.
So give me a little timeline, Mario. Like, I don't want to date you, but what years are we talking about? And I only ask this from a collector standpoint because you saw stuff hit the shelves that was first coming out. Like,
comics were 20 cents when I was buying comic books,
right.
So that kind of gives you an idea. That was very early 1970s.
Okay.
And, I would beg Dad for a quarter so I could
Yeah.
buy one comic book.
And you're
You
buying
know
them
what I mean?
off the spinning
Yeah.
rack
Yep.
in the
Yep.
corner store.
Yeah,
right?
and the
The
majority of the
5
time
and
it was a big no. You
9.
know?
Quarter's
So,
a lot of money.
Every once in a while, you know, hey, here's 50 cents or here's a buck, mijo, and
Oh,
I was in
nice.
heaven.
You knew where you were going. It
I
was
knew where I
beeline
was
to the
going.
comic rack.
That's what it was for me. It was a big red, an apple stick, and a comic book if I could afford it.
Horror first, or would you go
Horror first. Horror
Okay,
first.
so you'd
Nice.
look for one of those,
Nice.
but if you didn't find it,
Yeah, horror was my thing. You know what I mean? From the very beginning. Horror movies. You guys are big on horror movies.
Oh, yeah.
And again, you know, it was incredible to see these new werewolves and Dracula
Yeah,
and
yeah.
even the Living Mummy.
Yeah.
You know, all these were comic books.
Because that stuff wasn't really in comics till Marvel did it. Am I right? It was kind of like we kind of talked about in our horror episode that DC didn't really do a big approach to horror. Like they didn't. I don't know if they didn't respect it, or you would be the man to know. I mean, was there ever like a horror
That's a good question.
or
Yeah.
monster
Or DC.
thing in DC?
Oh yeah, well DC and Marvel, you know, as the heroes were kicking off in the 60s and getting into a lull maybe about 1968, you know, thinking that they had to reboot some things, that's what they said, well, let's try some new stuff. So both companies were putting out horror, House
Yeah.
of Mystery type
Yeah.
stuff
Oh,
for DC.
okay.
You know what I mean? Ghosts for DC.
Tell
Right.
stories.
And then
Yeah.
and then but Marvel they took the high road and they said no, let's get some of those licensed characters. Everybody loves the Wolfman. Everybody
Definitely.
loves Dracula.
Well, that's a smart
And those
move
are
right there. Right?
It is.
Iconic
Yeah.
titles. Iconic titles.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I know that when
Ghost
we
Rider.
talked about it. Yeah,
If you read that first appearance of Ghost Rider, that's pretty creepy stuff you're reading there. He's doing the pentagram on the
Right,
floor, summoning up the devil. You're like, whoa.
Damien Hellstrom, son of Satan,
Yeah.
and it's like. But
Son
now
of
that I think
Satan.
about it, son of Satan. Now that I think about it, DC did have the Spectre, Dead Man.
Spectre, yeah.
You know, there.
Yeah.
Would you say Doctor Fate was kind of
Yeah.
a little bit
Dr. Fate was a
magic
little bit
stuff?
different, but Swamp Thing, you know, Swamp Thing
definitely.
was very
Swamp
different
Thing.
and very mature writing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So horror was a different genre up here, rather than just the kid superhero stuff that Stan Lee was writing.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
at the
right.
very early age when I was reading, you know, that was my thing. You know, Stan Lee wrote everything. He catered it to us youngsters. It was the best.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. I know you're a
as
big
it-
Stan guy.
Yeah,
so-
but I just redid some of my notes and said, well, Stanley stopped writing in about 1972, I think it was, to become publisher.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's when all the big guys started coming
Yep.
in. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Claremonts and,
Yep.
and Starlins and
Jerry Conway.
You know, Jerry
Yeah.
Conway. These guys came in. I mean, at first it was a very small stable of writers. You know,
Right.
and they wrote everything and
The old
created everything.
bullpen, right?
That's me.
Marvel
Bullpen.
bullpen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's me. That's me. You know, I love everything they created to this day.
So let me ask you, Mario. Back then, and I don't know, you probably didn't have this mindset because from what I gather, like from talking to my dad, is that there wasn't a mindset of like, oh, Spider-Man's out, it's on the rack, like you said. You got your quarter, you go to the rack, you get Spider-Man. But you're not thinking like, well, I wanted to read the first issue of Spider-Man. There wasn't really comic stores back then, right? Was there There was no way to get like, even though you were maybe a few years out from when that stuff came out, X-Men and Giant Size, there wasn't a way to go get it easily. You know, I mean, from what I'm understanding.
It wasn't until I purchased my first price guide. You guys saw that post I put up. You know,
Yeah.
I was 15 years
Yes.
old at that time, and that's really what introduced me to going back.
Okay.
You know, and saying, God, look at all these issues that I've never read or I haven't had in my hands. Trade paperbacks weren't available, things
No,
like that.
right.
So
No,
the
yeah.
collecting fear hits you, and I was going to used bookstores, things like that,
Ooh,
trying to find, do you have any
interesting.
beat up comic books? You know what I mean? Just to
Wow.
find a beat up 12 center.
Yeah.
You know, which is the beginning of this stuff. And I would
Nice.
get lucky. I would get lucky every once in a while.
Probably in a stack somewhere. There was no long boxes back then to
That-
flip through.
That's how collecting was for me in the beginning, and I read everything.
Yeah.
So my collection was not in good shape at all. You know, I wasn't even
Okay.
concerned with it at the time.
I don't think anyone
until
was.
that price
Yeah.
guide. I started
Yeah.
reading it like a Bible. No offense.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, it taught me everything, and to this day, I buy one every year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I read it every year.
Interesting.
My wife reads quite a bit, you know, and she's reading, and I'm over here reading my
Yeah.
book, you know, and it takes me a year.
We
to
can
read it.
relate.
It takes me
Yes,
a
we
year
can.
to go through it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
the price guide, that was the best for me.
Now, I know there's one sport in particular that you're a sports guy, but I'm going to stick to kind of collectibles for a second. Were you doing any type of cards? Because obviously, even at that time, baseball cards, things that were already big, whereas, you know, you've got Babe Ruth stuff, Willie Mays stuff, all that stuff was out.
that's true.
But it never appealed to you.
No, it never appealed to me until I started going to Comic Cons.
Ah,
you know,
okay.
And the Comic Cons were a mixture of cards.
Guys have
and
everything.
things like that. And I became a pretty serious collector in the card market too for a while there too. But
I think
comics
in your
were
first
always
store,
my
I remember
thing.
you guys had sport. You got in that
Half
first
and half.
store, you did a little bit of everything. I remember.
yeah.
There's toys.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
sports. There was. I don't know if you had really other memorabilia, but I'm sure you did.
Hot Wheels, you know,
Shirts.
we did shirts,
Yeah.
we did everything. We did a little bit of everything at
Yeah.
that time, and we were new to the whole thing, so you know we figured we'd come in strong and try a little bit of everything. But then Pete, my old partner, and I just decided, you know, what is it we love? What is it we do best?
Right.
You know, and it's always been comics.
That's
it's
where
always
your
been comics. So
wheelhouse is,
we
yeah.
slowly started evolving back, and like a heavy plane throwing out all the stuff that was weighing us down. You know what I mean? It's like, we don't need that anymore. We
The
don't
classic
need that anymore.
story, right?
Let's
You're like-
buy more comics.
Yeah.
And to this day, Pete still does that.
Yeah.
And I'm a vintage guy, you know, and it's all about comics for me. If you look around my store,
Oh, yeah.
or Pete's store.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where did that come from? Where did who
Pete
are you,
Man?
Lennon or McCartney? Which one's which?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Where did McCartney
Well,
come in?
it was always my sister liked to refer to us as Pinky in the Brain.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But anyway, you know, I mean, Pete and I, Pete's my brother-in-law. He's
Yeah,
married to
yeah.
my sister Lori. I love you guys.
Yeah.
You know, we started
Shout
going
out
to
to
the
Pete
old.
and Lori.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
We started going to the old Econo Lodge. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yes, I do.
that's-
Yes, I do.
It's one of the very
The hotels.
first
Yeah,
Comic
yes.
Cons
Here,
in town.
I
you know?
remember that.
Very
5
little
bucks to get
stores.
in. Yeah.
Yeah. And when I was going, it was $1.
Yeah. It was $5 for us.
But anyway,
Yeah.
Pete actually introduced me to that.
Okay,
And
nice.
so we started going to the shop, to the show, and I would walk out of there with bags. You know, Comic Book John rented the whole place
No, nice.
and surrounded the place with comics for a dime. 10
Oh, my
cents.
gosh.
All you
Nice.
could carry.
Can you
Nice.
imagine
And
what
the
you
guy
got
had,
at that time?
he had a truckload full of stuff, so we just loaded up year after year after year.
And did you? And when you're doing that, is it the knowledge is that me and you are going to have a store in 5 years or 3 years? Or
we were
you
just big fans.
you just
big,
loved
big
it.
fans, and then as you start shopping around and stores started appearing, you know, and we won't mention any names, but some of those stores
We will
were,
probably.
some of those stores were around,
Right.
and they weren't giving us what we wanted.
Yeah.
So eventually we talked about that, and even now that happens
Yes,
now.
yes.
But Pete and I, you know, the light bulb went on, and he said, "Hey, I think we can do this.
Nice,
I think
nice.
we can do
Okay.
this better.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know how we want to be treated. You know, and
Okay.
so that's where the light bulb went on in about 1995.
Yeah.
And
Now, did
opened-
you guys start first at the Comic Cons, or did you open the store and then?
Pete used to do the Comic Cons.
Okay,
Pete used to do
nice,
the Comic
nice.
Cons.
Okay,
You know, and I go
okay.
go visit him at his little table,
Okay.
and he would do it with his
Okay.
cousin and make a few bucks and stuff
Nice,
like that.
nice.
And you know, when we went to the stores, though, a light bulb just went off in my head, and I said, you know what? You know, I was in the entertainment business at the time, and I was doing a lot of nighttime stuff and everything. And I said, eventually, this has got to stop. You know,
Yeah.
What am I passionate about?
Right,
And it
right.
was either rock and roll or comics.
Hey,
and I
those are
chose
two good ass things to be passionate about. I give you
and I
that.
chose comics. So we took the big leap of faith in 1996
Nice.
and took off running out of the gate.
I mean, I don't know if
Collector's
I'm.
authority.
I don't know if I'm correct, but I feel like almost like we had to be there opening day or opening week because we were making our rounds, man.
I didn't get into it until '97.
But then I was with your brothers, your older brothers.
Yeah.
Because I remember, and I've told Mario this story, but I remember walking in, and at the time we collected the Marvel cards. I'll tell you this story, but I'll tell it here for the people, the Friday Nighters listening. I had never been into a comic book store where things I'd only seen in Wizard magazine,
Yeah.
you know, or on a card that was a most valuable comic card, was up on the wall just like this. And this
Yeah.
is before slabbing books was a thing. These were in just a bag and a board. Shit, it might have been before the Mylar bag days.
Oh, for sure,
And
yeah.
Mario and Pete had up there at Collector's Authority, Journey into Mystery. First appearance of Thor, he's
80,
swinging the hammer over his head.
Nice.
It's you see it, and if you know comic books, you know it right away, and you're like, that is the first time Thor ever comes out in a comic book. That's A, very expensive, and B,
you're actually seeing it.
super awesome that my eyes are upon it.
On it, yeah.
And I was just like, I'm in my church, man. I was like, this is an awesome place. And it would be not long after, I think, maybe me and Adam's two older brothers had subs and we were getting stuff. But I gotta say, I would give anything to go back in a time machine and be making the rounds with you and just seeing what you're collecting and reading, or just
I know, that'd be
sitting
awesome.
in a room
Yeah.
on a beanbag with you and hey, check this one out, Charles. I just read this. You know what I mean? And sorry guys, you'll hear Mario. We all got like 40 names here, but Mario called me Charles. That's how he met and knows me. But but CM Chuck and Adam. But what got you? When you were at that show, you go visit Pete. Were you hunting for things? Where they're like, I'm looking for this?
Oh yeah.
Or were you just, I'm hanging out?
No, the price guide was my book.
Okay.
And so I would, highlight things and say, you know what, these I gotta find, these I
nice.
gotta get.
Oh, okay.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? And
Nice.
I was on a trek to find everything vintage.
Right.
I wasn't looking at new stuff, anything like that. I was going back in time.
And your
So-
mind is like, for you.
Yeah.
There's no intent of selling this. It's like, I'm collecting because I want to have the most badass collection anybody's got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's,
that was the
yeah.
plan, and then when we decided later, looking at stores and stuff like that and saying, maybe we can do this. We love it. Why not?
That's
We'd be
awesome.
crazy if we didn't
That's
try
awesome.
it. And it didn't hurt that we had amassed, almost $500,000 worth of comics.
Damn.
By the
Nice.
time I was 29.
Nice.
By the time I was
Holy
29.
crap.
and are you
So-
keeping track, Mark, like on a piece of paper? Like, I mean, I've got like one of these and one of these and one of these.
Oh
like,
yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
mean,
And-
obviously, I know we all know when we've got something
Yeah.
of value in our collection,
Mhm.
but to have several,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean?
But by the time we got to where we were officially going to open, we'd amassed, 5, Amazing Spider-Man 129s, 5
Oh, nice.
181s for the Hulk.
Nice.
You know what I mean? We were
Nice.
looking for the key stuff, but
I'm still dying for one of each of
honestly,
those.
I was kind of in a breed all by myself at the time,
Yeah.
because other stores were evolving into the new stuff,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I was still that guy who loved the old stuff. So we kind of cornered the market on that when we first opened up, and then of course any new store is going to carry the new releases, so that
Sure.
was just a given.
Yeah.
And so we had the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
at
you sure did.
at that store.
You sure did.
You know?
Absolutely.
So when I got into it, like I saw Spawn, the movie. Okay, so I fell in love with Spawn.
You good?
Yeah.
Birthday came around. I got like $200, $300. Start calling on the phone book, going through where it says comics.
Now Adam's dating himself.
Yeah. Calling everyone saying, hey, do you have Spawn issue 1? A lot of people say, no. Call Collectors Authority. Do you have Spawn issue 1? Yes, I do. My mom took me. Mario Pete had Spawn issues 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I bought the whole first 10 issues.
Probably $8, probably for number 1.
Yeah. I
In
bought the
in the
whole
image
issue.
height, right?
Yeah.
See that one behind us up there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I got
It's a
all
beauty.
those. I blew my money. Didn't have no regrets blowing $200, $300. That was my first comic purchase. Was at Collectors Authority.
Wow.
Was
I
Spawn
didn't know
issue
that.
1, the whole Spawn 1 through 10.
Very
And
cool.
after that, that's when I was like, okay, I gotta keep coming back here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
For sure.
They
For
had
sure.
they had the toys. That's where I got my medieval Spawn of action figure, which was super hot at that time. Got that. Started seeing, hey, new comics come on Wednesdays. I got to come every Wednesday now.
Mhm.
And I just kept going. Then Art came, William came.
Yeah.
We got Tony to come after a while.
Yeah.
That's who they were buying the sports cards. They'd buy a whole package. Open them there. Oh, what do we got? What do we got?
We used to have a ball doing
Yeah.
that.
Oh my
We used to
gosh.
have a ball
It
doing
became
that.
a hangout joint for us. We'd go every Wednesday. And you know what was cool? If I ever ran out of money, hey, Bank of America is right there.
Yeah, for
Let's
sure.
go
for
real
sure.
quick, and then we'll come back.
Just real quick.
So it just became a really cool hangout spot for me, my brothers, Chuck,
Yeah, man. I
Tony,
mean,
my cousin Tony. We got him really hooked into sports cards for a good phase before he finally stopped.
right. You always go through that, right? Like, you're
Because
like,
he was buying boxes after a while.
Yeah.
That's how obsessed he
Yeah.
started becoming. He was buying boxes.
You're doing a run of something, and you're like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
into this for the moment. Like, I'm the, our good buddy Albert. Albert. You know,
Yeah,
because later on, Albert
Yeah.
lived on the south side. So it was like,
Mhm.
Albert was like the first guy I met that was like a DC guy. I never had a DC friend before. When I brought him to meet these guys, we hit it off on music. We hit it
Yep.
off on sports. Love for the Spurs, obviously, and hatred of each other's football teams, and then comics. And then when I told them that he was a DC guy, we were all like, we saw a piece of fool's gold. Like, what, for real? Like, that's your jam? Like, we had all been Marvel guys. We know you're a Marvel
Yeah.
guy. So, you know what I mean? I remember Pete had like the belt in there because he was a wrestling guy and a Punisher guy, which I've always been a wrestling guy and a Punisher guy too. So there was just so much kind of to see and take in there, and just
Yeah,
going there
there
for
was,
years and
yeah.
years. got friends in my life that are close friends that I've not known as long as I've known you, and that have met you. And if you've been friends with me for probably 10 years, you've at one time or another met Mario. You know, I've brought you into one incarnation of his stores, and you've met him. You know, you've met Aaron. You know, you've met. I mean, obviously, you know Albert from him shopping there, but you know, my buddy Jimmy, who just had the utmost respect to you. Not into collecting anything at all. Not his thing. Probably likes the movies now, but he was enamored with you just as a businessman and your personality and how you approach this. He's a guy that would every restaurant we go to would critique and talk about that. And I want to get into some of that. I wrote down too, just as being a small business owner in the time of COVID, but also in San Antonio for the past 25 years and longer, because you were doing, like you said before, we you know, we talked a little bit before did this episode about how you had been your own boss since you were 18.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay,
pretty much.
And
pretty
what was
much.
that first business, Mario?
Well, you know, when I first started following my brother around, you know, my brother was a DJ, my brother was a dancer. You know, disco was around.
Yeah, okay.
You know that. So I go way back, but you know, I used to follow my brother around like a puppy dog. You know what I mean? Where are you going to be? Where are you going to be? And then my brother eventually started letting me work a light system and do some other things. And so at the age of 15, I was doing that, following him around everywhere I could, watching my brother become a DJ and watching him get, you know, all the attention. And
probably girls,
yeah, that too, but he was darn good at it. You know, he was darn good at it. And that's what, you know, I always wanted to just be good at whatever I did. So I followed in my brother's footsteps for a little while there. And did the whole thing, but I took it to another level. You know, I wanted to install sound systems, I wanted to create light systems, I wanted to do things like that. Yeah. And that's what I did at the age of probably 17 and 18 is when I opened my first San Antonio sound business.
Nice.
And
very nice.
you know, for about 10 years there, you know, that's what I did. Day and night, you know what I mean? I was installing by day, creating by day, and playing by night, you know what I mean? Different clubs, you know, you name it. Private parties, corporate parties.
DJ by night.
Yeah,
DJ by night. I know.
By night, you know, and that is what actually, you know, people didn't know that I was buying comic books during the day. You know what I mean? That was my passion. So eventually, that's where it got to. You know, what are we gonna do here? I'm at a crossroads here. I need to do something. I think I want to do comic books because I'm passionate about them.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So then that brings me kind of to, you know, a little bit about. I'll talk a little bit about this show. Your mom passed this past year.
Yes.
You know, and you know, we know people that know you, follow you on your social media, and you're not, you know, you're on there a lot, but you know, you're not like posting all the time, and it's not always just business. You know what I mean? You know, you wish people a happy Thanksgiving, a Merry Christmas, and you know, you put that. You know what I mean? You put that. You know, your mom, you know, had passed, and your first weekend back at the store here, you put up, hey, first weekend back, guys, be open all weekend. Come out, traders, say hello. You know what I mean? You're never pressuring anyone to buy anything. You're never. It's always a great conversation. It's always a visit with a friend. And we came to see you, me and Adam, and we knew. And Adam said, he told me, he goes, hey man, I'm gonna go see Mario tomorrow, man. It was a Sunday, and I said, yeah, man, no doubt, I'm going with you. You know what I mean? Like, we're going. So, you know, and I kind of mentioned jokingly, you know, my girlfriend sometimes give me a little bit of a hard time, go run off, do things on my own. And the comic book day will become like an all day thing, and she knows even when we come visit you at the shop, she's like, there goes an hour. He's gonna be in there for about an hour. You know what I mean? Even if I'm not browsing around, you know what I mean? Which she's, you know, usually here for about 30 minutes of it. But anyway, we came in here, man, and we left, and we just had this revelation after talking with you and visiting with you about that we wanted to kind of do something like you did, you know, where you took that mindset and said, I want to create something that's mine and do something that I love. And then we said, that's what Adam said, hey, how do we make a podcast? And when we had to narrow down all the things we could talk about, because we love movies, you know, we love, you know,
music,
sports. I mean, like, we could have gone any which way about it. Yeah, TV shows, we could just done just strict. And then we were like, man, I kind of want to talk a little bit all that. But I think our favorite episodes, our favorite times when we are talking about comics, and that's, you know, we were like
breakdowns.
Yeah, so it being like a pop culture show is a way for us to kind of just put it under an umbrella and do everything. But literally sitting down, man, and hearing your story and talking with you that day made us say, we got to do what you did, you know, all those years back, man. And then for years, you know, decade after decade, you know, being that kind of friend and that kind of shop owner. Because how many times we walk in and him and his brothers, more so than me, are huge boxing guys, and they'll get in there and they'll just have a conversation with you about boxing. I know his oldest brother, Art, you guys get in on music. We talk about DJ by night, more like a creature of the night, because if you know Mario, There it is, right there. I almost wore mine. I was gonna wear my Kiss shirt too, but I wanted to rep the show. Well, I'm here with the man right here, side by side. So, but there it is. There it is. So, tell us a little bit about that, man, because you could have easily been buying just albums and vinyl. Which,
I was.
by the way, how is that
I
collection?
Still do.
Is it still?
I still do. You know, my wife and I both love vinyl. You know,
Nice.
You know, my you guys seen my picture on the wall?
Oh
over
yeah,
there.
the
You know,
classic.
my wife took me backstage. She was the one that bought the tickets for me to go
Nice.
backstage to
Very
meet
nice.
these guys. You
Very
know, so
nice.
you know, I've always been a rock and roller, and now my wife is a rock and roller, and you know, and when we do it big. You know what I mean?
Oh, man,
You know,
I've
those
heard.
pictures were great of
We
the
want
Kiss
to be up
ones.
front.
Yeah.
We want to do the whole 9 yards. You know, you only live once
Mhm.
type thing. You know what I mean?
I was super
Go
jealous.
for it if you can.
They went to see Kiss last year, I think, before all this shit broke down. And man, it just all pictures were awesome. I was like, golly, why didn't I go? Golly, it just looked amazing.
Yeah, we've seen Kiss together, I think, Adam.
Once.
Once.
Yeah.
No one sees Kiss like Mario sees Kiss. Mario gets right up front
Yeah.
with Kiss.
Yeah.
14 times.
Wow,
14
14 times.
14 times.
I mean,
Yeah.
does it ever get old?
No, it doesn't get old, and I'm gonna be watching them on New Year's Eve. You know,
Nice.
they're doing that New Year's
Yes,
Eve
the
thing.
streaming.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
they're gonna do the
Okay,
streaming thing.
okay,
You know what I
very
mean? So I
cool.
told my wife. I looked at my wife and I went, "Can we do that?"
Yeah.
I said,
Where are
"I
they
wanna
where are
watch
they
it."
playing at? Are they?
Belize.
Oh,
They're in
wow.
Belize.
Wow.
They're
Awesome,
doing some
man.
superstructure, and it's going to be streaming like all day for $40.
Okay.
But you know they're going to go through the evening. It's gonna be pretty neat. So I think I want to spend the early part of New Year's Eve
There you
watching
go.
my boys.
There you go.
One last
Nice.
time maybe.
So there's an interesting band, right? Like if you love Kiss, I mean, like, you know, we all three here love Kiss.
Yeah.
I got to take my dad. I think I told you, you know what I mean? Like there was that show where Paul came out on the zip line and the stage rose up, which was
Yeah.
almost right in front of our up above seats. So it was like awesome for my dad to be like, wow, like that was a band he didn't get to see back in the 70s. He saw AC/DC, everybody municipal, but he didn't get to see them, you know.
Your dad's closer to my age.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, he's older than you. He's older than he would like to think that, but yeah. But yeah, so that was really rad for him. But here's a band that I tell people, I'm like, if you need a band to like get you into rock and roll, I mean, Kiss, because number one, it's also a show, it's a production, the way they look. Now these are guys that married your two passions.
Yeah, no
Comic
kidding.
books
Yeah.
and
Hey,
music
that's a good one.
themselves
Yeah,
being
yeah,
in
yeah.
it.
You're exactly
So
right.
tell me, the Blood Issue, the famous, do you own it? Do you own several? I mean, like,
Several.
what age are you at that time when that's happening?
Well, that was 1978, I think it was. You
Okay.
know, they did the big promotion. They were always promoting.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know.
Oh, yeah.
I
We've
even
seen
have
the
a
footage,
picture. I have a picture
Stan
of
Lee
them
and
with
him.
Stan
Yeah.
Lee.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
I try to be the Gene
they're
of our
dropping the
show.
Veil of Blood in there, you know. Gene was a big horror fan. You know,
Okay.
that's
That
why
makes
he's
sense.
the demon.
The demon,
But
yeah.
comic books were his inspiration for his character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We talked
And-
about that, remember?
The Black Bolt cape.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Black
yeah,
Bolt.
Yeah, exactly.
Very rad.
Exactly.
Very rad.
So I mean, you know, it just came hand in hand. It was very comical, animated, but the show was extremely huge.
Visual.
You know,
Huge.
visual, huge
Yeah.
stuff you've never seen before.
Yeah.
I just realized that it was October 19th,
Okay.
1979, when I first went to go
Nice.
see them
Wow.
Yeah.
in the Dynasty tour.
That is.
Nice.
Oh man,
So,
that's
nice,
awesome,
You know,
man.
October 19th, I'm like, boy, I said, that's
Where
the
are
date.
you
That's
at?
where it all started.
Municipal? Is it here in town, or you had to travel?
The
or-
arena, the old arena.
Oh,
the
oh,
old
that's
arena
it, yeah.
where
Nice.
the Spurs, the original where
Yeah.
Gorman used to play. The
Yeah, yeah,
original
yeah.
Spurs used to
I saw
play.
some games there. I
Yeah.
have the
That
distinction of
was
seeing
my
games
first
in all three.
big concert, and then after that, it just segued into Scorpions, Judas Priest, you name it.
Sure,
You know, I was rocking,
sure.
buying tickets. You know, had a stack of tickets that was that big by the time I was, you know,
Ooh,
20.
nice.
And,
Very
and,
nice.
and it's still something that me and my wife enjoy. And you
Okay.
know, so when somebody comes to town, it's like, yeah, let's go. let's
Anybody
go.
you're missing? Anybody
Yeah.
that you wished you would have?
AC/DC. Never seen
That's
them. Never
just
seen
night
them.
time.
Never seen them.
Yeah.
So-
Sometimes we talk about the Stones and we're like, might never happen.
Yeah,
Them
well, I got a
tickets are-
chance to see the Stones, but then I told myself, you know, Mick's so old. I don't know if I want to ruin anything. You know what I mean? I said, you know, I love their music, but let me just keep that in my mind instead of seeing him at that age up there.
I hear you,
So I
man.
passed on that one.
Okay. The Stones. Double A. Anything you want to get into next? We go take it to the next.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a lot of deep dives I want to get into Mario with about just how the business was for him in the '90s to where it's at now, kind of making it harder for us real comic book fans versus the collectors
Definitely.
that are
Definitely.
just coming in here and just buying shit up just
Yeah.
to price it up.
Hey guys, just a reminder, I see a lot of the Friday Nighters who are watching and commenting, guys. We really appreciate you being here with us on the Facebook Live. Don't forget that in a few seconds, we're going to go to a break. I'm going to tell you that we're going to break, but we're not going to break on Facebook Live. You will still be here. We're going to start reading through your, scrolling through your comments and your questions and answering some of those while our podcast portion kind of like does its little processing thing, guys. So please continue to comment, write your questions in, say hello, anything you want to say or ask of Mario or ourselves. We're going to be here for you guys for the long haul. It's getting windy out. If you can hear the wind, please let us know. We're doing our best to kind of mitigate the sound. We don't know what the mic is really picking up. Sounds good to us.
We're going live like kids.
We're going to doing it live. Hey, you know what I mean? Rock and roll all night, party every day.
We're doing it live.
Mm-hmm. Totally, guys. So with that being said, it's about that time. We're going to go take a quick little break. We'll be right back. If you're joining us on the Facebook Live, stick around. We're going to still be here for you guys. All right, Friday Nighters, we're doing our break on the podcast portion, and we're going to go ahead and read through, say some hellos. I'm going to read through some of these. Guys, just jump in if you want to say hi to anybody. Gabriel Flores does a wave here. Gabriel, thank you for being here, man. We hope you're still here. Steve, Merry Christmas and cheers. Steve, Merry Christmas and cheers. Appreciate you, man. Maria, that's my mom. Mom, hola. Hi, Mom.
I love your mom.
I know. Yes, I know. She loves you too. Yeah, she does. Yeah, she's always like, Mijo, why don't you do what he's doing? I'm like, it's not that easy, Ma. Yeah, I'm trying.
I used to love it when she would come to the store.
Oh, she's a riot, right?
Yeah.
She'd be, can I get some of those little card things? Yep. I put pictures in them. I'm like,
Charles, you need to buy these for me.
Oh man, what am I doing in here?
Yeah,
put it in the box. Let's see. Gabe Mason waves hello. What's up, Gabe?
That's Gabe from Ohio.
Oh, cool. How's it going, Gabe? Appreciate you being here, man. Make sure and like and follow us on Just Another Friday Night. Jessica says, sounds good. Okay, yeah, she's done. Okay, woo woo. Hey guys, all right, hey babe, how you doing? How you doing? Mario's here with us. Let's see what else we got here. Michelle's here. Hi, Michelle. There you go. Dad's watching. Papa's watching. Dad, how you doing?
Traders Village.
Traders Village is sharing. Oh, Brian, awesome. Right. What's up, Traders Village? Thanks for having us in the house. We appreciate you letting us be out here and kick it in the night. Creatures of the night that we are.
Creatures of the night. Yeah.
Mario, what's on sale?
There's your dad.
Yeah, you still owe him for the surfer statue. I was looking for a deal.
Hold on.
Show it on. Dad,
you were supposed to buy this 5 months ago.
He told me that that's my Christmas gift to him, so I may have to talk to you off air about that. I don't know if you
brought
need
it just for you.
Do you need the floor scrubbed, Mario? I'll see what I can do. I mean, let's see who else here. Anthony's in the house. Feliz Navidad. What's up, Anthony? For that, we're going to liquor store tomorrow. I know. Don't worry. I won't party too hard tonight. Dad says he used to watch that with Uncle Joe. I'm not sure what Project Terror. Yes. He was a big horror fan too. My dad back in the day. Best. The Dork Dad, Lucky. Joseph, you probably met this guy too, or he's a friend of Javi's over at Atomic. He's the one that got us in there. We were on his show, the Dork Dad podcast. He's a great guy, awesome collector, who we got to meet through this process. So what's up, Lucky? Appreciate you being here.
Joshua David's one of my guys.
Okay, he says, what's up, Mario? How's it going, brother?
Something in the future there, these private groups that I belong to.
Yeah.
That's something we'll talk about later.
Nice. Okay.
Hey guys, we're all about shout outs, so give us a like and a follow on our page, on our Instagram and Twitter at JAFN podcast, and on Facebook we're right here at Just Another Friday Night, guys. You can search it, you can find us, give us a like and a follow. We're happy to share your pictures of your shops, shows, whatever it is, wherever you are. More than happy to do that.
Yeah.
Is that who I think it is?
Roxanne says hi, guys. That Roxanne or Albert?
No, Roxanne. After Roxanne. Hi,
Albert.
Roxanne.
Yep, that's Albert.
That's Albert.
That's
Albert.
it. You know it, man.
Mr. Green Lantern.
He might owe you. Does he owe you money? He might owe you money, man. I don't know.
I miss you, Albert. I miss you, man.
Come by the shop, Albert. You live right. He lives right here on the south side.
Traders Village. Come on out.
Another rocker. He does our music, our opening music.
No way.
Yeah, he put that together for us. Yeah. Great audio.
Come and see me, Albert.
Let's see. Gabe says that's a good-looking wall. Indeed, it is. Indeed, it is enticing us here.
Oh, okay. Spawn too. Yeah.
Spawn sent him down the expensive.
Sure did for me.
Gabe Flores is like the consummate Spawn collector in San Antonio. He's my good buddy.
Nice.
But you name it, you need something Spawn. Gabe's got
that's
it.
good to know.
He loves it.
Good to know.
He's one of my good friends. Thanks, Gabe.
My good buddy Andrew, aka Nene. He's a real funny guy, man. Does a bunch of comedy videos. He's got like 500,000 followers on the TikTok or whatever. Huge guy. What up, Nene? We appreciate you being here, man. And Andy Vargas says, Mario.
That's Andy's toy box down the street from me.
What's up, Andy? Appreciate you, man. Like, great shop. Great pops, man.
Just down the street from me. 15th Street on Traders Village, folks. Collectibles. This is the place.
I'm telling you guys, this literally is a murderer's row.
Toy Matrix just joined us. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Anime ASA is right here next to me. You know, we've got a good thing going on 15th Street. So come on
Something
and see
for
us.
everyone on this road. Let me tell you, I had a blast out here last weekend. And then Michelle says we took our two boys to see Kiss in Las Vegas for Thanksgiving one year. Best
Wow,
Thanksgiving
nice, very
ever.
nice.
We told the
On
family.
Thanksgiving.
We'll see y'all later. We're going to
Wow,
Vegas. And we bought
nice.
tickets to see them.
Were they
in the Palms?
of age to go to?
They were in their
casinos?
teens. They were perfect.
Oh,
They
okay,
were perfect.
okay,
They were perfect.
good,
They could
good,
go.
good,
They
good,
could go.
good.
And we got
Very
first
nice.
first row, first balcony, right on the top, looking
Nice.
straight down. Only 6,000 people. It was the best.
I gotta say, if you're not a rocker, that's got to
Thanksgiving.
turn you into a rocker,
Thanksgiving,
right?
yeah.
Big time.
The
Yeah.
heat off the pyros
It was
got
my
to be
boy. It was my boys' first show. Both of my
Nice,
boys. Hey
very
boys.
nice.
very
Miss you,
cool,
boys.
very cool. Yeah, what's up, guys? We
They're big boys
appreciate
now.
it. Appreciate you guys. John
John
Flores,
Flores,
how
big
much for the
brother.
sign Hulk and Wolvie? Business is at hand. Well, wait, Mario, I'll let him do this.
Come
We
and
can-
talk to
come
me.
and talk
Come and
to the
talk
man
to
here.
me.
Eric White says Mario is the man. You know what? We've been saying that for all
Right.
these. What are we on now? 39 episodes now, Double A.
Yep.
So definitely agree with you guys.
Thanks, Eric.
Guys, thank you
Good to
so
see
much for being here, commenting. Please continue to comment anything you want to add or ask Mario, even prices. I'm sure he'll get back with you.
For sure. For sure.
Feel free to comment and write in. We're going to keep it going here, keep the ball rolling. I'm going to get us back on the podcast portion. But again, like I said, guys, in the next 30 minutes, we're going to take another break
Yeah, so
and
keep
we'll talk to you
commenting.
again.
What I always like to tell people is come to the store.
There you
know,
go.
I mean, you don't have to buy anything.
No,
That's
I
what I
know
always
that.
tell you. Come and see
Go.
the store.
Yeah.
Come and experience Authority Comics.
Totally.
You know, come and experience Collectors Authority.
Exactly.
You will see things that you don't normally see. Hopefully, you know, you're going to get treated better than you've ever been treated. That's one of my things.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I guarantee you're gonna like the shop, and you're gonna say, hey, you know, let's come back. I want to come back. you know?
Totally.
Walk
No
out of here with a
pressure
smile on
here,
your
guys.
face.
It's
Yeah, no
all a loving
Yeah, if you
fandom.
got kids, Mario's got everything in for kids.
Oh yeah,
Got
for
Green
sure,
Lantern
for
rings,
sure.
got
Yeah.
buttons, stickers, everything.
Yeah. And I've never brought my nephew and him leave unhappy because he's got something in his hand that he's enjoying.
We're
for
Godzilla
sure.
fans, you know
Oh
what
yeah,
I mean? So
definitely.
we have
my
everything.
girlfriend's too. Her oldest and youngest are huge Godzilla fans.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna bring us right back in here, guys.
Alrighty.
And we are back. Thanks for hanging out, Friday Nighters. And those of you that are watching us on the Facebook Live, no, we didn't go anywhere. So, you know, you can watch us on Facebook Live too if you want. You can watch this later. It'll be available, but we're also going to be on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, anywhere podcasts can be found. You'll be able to hear this podcast later on. So, guys, and again, we welcome everyone to put in their questions. We're definitely going to get to all that. We're doing it at the 30-minute breaks because when you have the megastar Mario here, it's just too much. The man in comics. Guys, how much do we say weekly about Mario? My friends, John and Roxanne, literally came in to see you. I think they're the one that kind of asked you, are you going to ever do the show? And they had their JAFN podcast masks
It's really
on.
nice to see them because I'd only seen them on your show.
Yeah.
On the thing. So when they came in my shop, I mean, it was just like the ultimate, you know, roundabout.
Mixing
And that's what it's all
some
about.
worlds.
You know, we all help each other out. We all run in the same circles. You know, a lot of our people are the same people.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't even know it. I love it. When
Exactly.
they go, you come here too?
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
that's my favorite.
Yeah.
When they come in here and they're like, I've been coming here for years. That kind of thing.
2 weekends
Love
ago
it.
when I did the toy drive at Atomic Comics, never been in there, never been. I'm talking with
Javi.
Lucky and Javi, and I said, yeah, I broke the news to them. I was like, this is between us three. I was like, but we're gonna have Mario on in a few weeks, and they were like, he was like, oh man, Mario, like no one has ever said a bad word, man. He said had nothing but love for you. So that was really cool. He's got a great little shop there.
Yeah,
Go
Javi's
check
got a good
it
shop.
out, guys.
Just
He's-
went to see him just the other day.
yeah, he's got a sale tomorrow too, so you go out there. He'll be open tomorrow. You get the last minute collector's gifts for the collector in your
Me
life.
and my wife are probably going to have dinner with him and his wife next week.
Nice.
Nice.
Very
You know
nice.
what I mean?
Very
So
nice.
they're,
Awesome,
they're
man.
good people.
Good deal.
Hey, Javi.
Good deal. Yeah, guys, we're always sharing the love here. We want to send people to each other because, again, Mario's a small business owner in the time of COVID right now, and we all know that it's been a struggle and difficult for everybody. So to even keep the doors open, I'm sure it's tough. You know what I mean?
It's very tough. It's very tough. You know, I mean, lucky for me, you know, I mean, I open on the weekends. You know?
Right,
I
right.
work from home, do my thing online a little bit here and there, you know, work for the weekend, come on out and do my thing to rub elbows with the people. That's what I like to do best.
Yeah.
You know, but the crowd, people are scared.
Yes, they
You
are.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
We shut down a Traders Village a couple of times because we had to. But, you know, we're open for business. it's beautiful weather sometimes out here.
Oh, man, we had some great days.
And
Yes.
as soon as we get past this, the crowds are massive. One of the reasons I came to Traders Village was to have thousands of people from around Texas come through my store in a given year.
Yeah.
And that is comparable to anything you can do in a brick and mortar in the city.
Sure.
You know, people come here.
Yeah, and it's great because whenever I come here, I always see people kind of like, they're walking and all of a sudden they just kind of like stop, kind of like look around, look what Mario's got, you know, framed up in the front sometimes.
Falcon hanging there.
Yeah, some people, I mean, they always just always have to stop. Like,
My
I always
boys.
just see it like stop, and they look at, you know, the kids, the Godzillas, the comics, and they're like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, and they come in for a second, you know, and they, you know, they're like, okay.
You can't help it. I
Yeah.
mean, number one, it's a great looking shop. Number two, Mario keeps everything really organized.
Yes.
It's really
Yeah.
clean. I mean, so those are things that about, you know, we've all been in a sweaty show next to guys that we're
Yes.
like, oh man, you know, wash that collecting bag or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
I'm always like,
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So it can be challenging, but not here, man. It's always, and I'm sure that, you know, as a shop owner, you might think, well, I want this store to be filled with 20 people all the time, but maybe not. I don't think that's how you think at all. You told me before that you wanted every person to feel like they were the only person in the shop.
Yeah.
There has never been a time when I don't feel that
Yep,
way.
same
There's
here.
never been a time when
Same
you
here.
didn't make time for me. You didn't let me leave. If you hadn't had a chance to come over, shake hands, say hello,
Yep.
give a hug back in the time when that was, you know, more less frowned and not frowned upon like it is now.
Yeah.
But you know, you're like, hey, hang on. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm doing this business, but it made me know. I was like, all right, cool. We're not gonna leave till we say hello.
I try to become a master at excusing myself for just a second, so that I can spread myself around,
Yeah.
whether there be, you know, 3 people in here or 20. And one of my really good customers was the one that really patted me on the back for that, because we were packed one day and he came in here, I saw him, gave him the wave right away, did my business with these other, ran over, took care of him, talked a little bit of shop with what he was picking up, and he left real quick. And you know, and I felt I didn't get to spend that time with him that I usually like to spend with you guys. But he went home, he rode on there, just went to Mario's shop. He made me feel like I was the only one in there who was packed. And he said that about me, and I said, man, that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about. And
Exactly.
That's why I do it.
I've walked in and out of this place before without spending a dime, and I come, like I said, just for the camaraderie, the talking. And how many times we don't even talk comics. Sometimes we're talking life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're talking, you know, boxing, we're talking the Spurs, we're talking sports. It's like, damn, we didn't talk about comic books at all. Like, I'm like, I don't even know what the hell's going on in the world.
We just had a big conversation, you and I, the other day about, you know, life.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, home life,
for
things like
sure.
that, and business.
Totally.
You know, possibilities.
Totally, man.
Things like that.
Totally. That meant a lot to me, by the
So
way.
that was
Thank
a
you
good
for that.
conversation.
Yeah,
you know?
man.
It was.
Totally.
yeah, and I was off air. I was talking with Mario too, and I was saying how, you know, I kind of got back into the game again with me and CM right here doing our podcast, and you know, kind of going, you know, comic book store, and kind of like some of the dealers, you know, it's like this doesn't seem like they know what they're doing,
Right.
And for someone like me that I was so used to Mario, so used to Pete, kind of giving me that treatment, kind of telling me what's coming up.
Sure.
You know, like, I don't know what's coming up anymore. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Mario would always tell me, hey, you know, you got to get on Origins, Wolverine Origins. You got to get on Civil War.
Yeah.
I got the whole collection of Civil War because Mario told me. And I told him, you know what? Hold everything that's coming. The tie-ins, everything. Hold everything. I don't even get that from dealers anymore. I don't,
The previews magazine.
Oh,
was,
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
that was
yeah.
no one
my-
tells me what's
Hey,
going on.
that thing,
Take one.
somebody hands you a preview.
Take one.
It's
Yeah,
like,
you
know what I
yeah,
mean?
for sure. I mean, you know,
And
it
I
can
mean,
be a
that goes
challenge.
a long way. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's just kind of like, oh, you done, sir? Okay, here. You
Right,
know, it's kind of like,
right.
golly, you know,
It's kind of the evolution of comic book stores after what I would like to call the glory years.
Mm-hmm.
The glory years for me were probably 2002 to about 2008.
That sounds right. That sounds about
You know
right.
what I mean?
Mhm.
Okay.
Civil War came
Yes.
out. You mentioned that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It became what Marvel was going to continue to do, epic wise, massive wise,
Yeah.
across every title, but it was good.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was good stuff.
Yeah.
And those were the glory years, man. We were just pumping out
Yeah.
books to the readers that wanted to read this storyline and wanted
Yeah.
every single issue of it.
Exactly,
You
and
know?
that's what I was saying. It's like you guys would tell me about Rebirth. Get on Green Lantern Rebirth.
Right.
Get on Civil War. You know, one issue is probably going to be hot. Watch. You know, give
Right.
or take.
Hush came out.
Hush.
You know what I mean?
The Wolverine Origins was so hot when it came out. You know,
Yeah.
issue 1 was
I remember
so
that.
hot.
I'm sure I got that from you.
You know, and Mario held it for me. He was like, "Yeah, I'll hold it for you." Boom. You know,
after about 2007, 2008, I think is when we might have had Secret Invasion in 2007,
yeah,
2008.
that sounds about
And that
right,
was
yeah.
still great
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
Now everybody's looking for that now because
Yeah.
it's possibly the future for the cinematic universe too.
I can remember
But-
talking with you. I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you
It's
off,
okay.
but just you letting me know, like, okay, this is the main story, but it's crossing over into these books. So if you
Yes,
like this,
and
and
see-
you know,
Yeah.
it's like when people say you go to a bartender, they know your drink, they know what you know. I always like to think about the way. They talk about at the end of Casino. You know what I mean? I know you
Yeah,
like mob
yeah.
movies, too.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
goes, back in the day, you go to the casino, they knew what you drank, they knew what
They
you
knew
know,
your
they knew your
name.
game, they knew
Yeah.
your name,
Well-
you know, all that. That's exactly how I feel with
What
you.
would I always tell you? I would always tell you, you don't have to buy it all.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because people are like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to buy all of
Yeah,
that and
yeah.
everything. That was the complaint all the time. Did it anyway, but you know, I was like, it's going to be that big. And I said, listen, guys, if you just want the meat and potatoes of the
Right,
story,
exactly.
this is what you need. I set you up for that. You know what I mean?
And see,
and if you want the rest, we'll get the rest. If you don't,
and
no
see,
biggie.
that's what I
You know?
miss.
But I want you to have
Yeah.
that.
I
I know you
miss
got to
that.
have that.
Yeah.
Because you're
You
going to be
have
missing
to.
out if not.
Yeah, you have
Yeah,
to.
see, that's what I miss. That's why I don't get anymore. If I buy a comic, they're like, okay, cool. Okay, you know, hey, don't forget, you know, this one's coming out, this one with this special.
Yeah.
You know, or this is coming out with this alternative cover.
Yeah.
Incentives.
You know, it's kind of like, you just don't have that anymore. And I've been to a few comic book places, and it's just like, you
Yeah.
know, it's just kind of like in and out.
If you don't know what you're going in to get, it's kind of like the Amazon approach. Like you know, you
well,
can
we
go,
talked
you know,
about it earlier, and you know the evolution again of the comic book store
Yeah.
as we speak now. You know, what are they trying to do? You know, move stacks and stacks of comics.
Right,
You know, I mean,
right.
you know, create, manufactured
Yeah,
collectibles.
Uh-huh.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
To me, this is the collectible
Uh,
behind me. This is real estate.
Right.
You know
But
what I
see,
mean? They're
what's
never
good-
making any more of it.
yeah,
What
that's
was
it.
what was good to Mario is that, you know, sometimes, you know, we talked about how you had like multiple issues, right? And you know, sometimes you'd have it for, this one was a little bit better, so you put it up for $10. This
Right.
one was a little bit in worse condition, but it was still really good, $5.
Right.
Okay, when I'm coming here now, a lot of the guys, when I approach them, they're opening the price guide. They're looking at eBay, no matter what the condition is, and it's just like, okay, I'm already getting a bad deal. I'm not going to come back to you again. I'm not going to, you know, no, you're not going to screw me like that, because this comic is not that much.
Yeah.
If you took it to get it graded, you're not going to, I'm not going to, you know, I'm going to lose out on the money.
Pete's a perfect example of that. You know, Pete has the new releases come in, and of course, you know, there's lots of people that want those extra books that there's not enough to go around.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so Pete doesn't instantly price them and put them up higher. You know, he's like, you know, come and get them.
Sure, first
Come and get them.
first
We
served.
want you to come in the store. That's
Yeah.
what we want you
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
But you come and get them, you get them,
Right.
and at the
Love
price
that.
you want them at.
Love that.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
if you don't, you know what I mean? They're just going to fly out the door, and everybody else is going to be paying top dollar for them at another price.
Yeah.
But you know, there's not enough to go around
Yeah.
usually. So you really got to get in there and go to those stores that don't automatically raise the price or that, or put them aside so they can do them on eBay on the side.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That
Yeah,
kind of
and
thing.
see, me and
it's all
CM
about the front counter.
Me and CM, we've been around San Antonio. We, ever since, you know, we got our own jobs, our own money, we started going to McAllen. We started going to Houston,
Sure.
to Dallas,
Yes.
to Austin. And, you know, it's just, again, the dealers are kind of like, they're like, well, you know, this is a first appearance, so it's going to be $1,000, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, with
Yeah.
Mario, you know, he always worked with us. You know, we can, you know, if he really could, he worked with us. He would let us know. He, you know, he based it on the cover, on the condition of it, you know, and that's, Mario kind of spoiled me. So every time somebody tries to rob me like that, I'm like, okay,
now you're
he
my,
lost my business.
now you're my enemy.
I want
yeah.
you to walk out the door, paying a decent price for
Yeah.
what you wanted,
Yeah.
and being excited about what you bought.
Mhm.
So
Not
Yes.
grumbling that you paid too much for
Right.
it.
And
out
see,
the door
and I
'cause you're not
never
gonna come
did,
back.
and I never did, especially when I got my job. I never minded spending $90, $100 at Mario and Pete. Never minded,
Yeah.
whatsoever, because I knew it was worth it. I knew it was a good price. I knew they were going to take care of me,
for sure.
and they sure have. And that's why I always go back to him. I always go back to Pete at Collectors, and that's why I always say, if you ever need comic advice, to ask Mario. Mario,
You
will
will
help
get an
you.
education for
Yes.
sure. And now let me.
And how many, like you said, how many times have we said that on the show?
Oh,
If you want
yeah.
to go to a comic book
Exactly.
guy, please go to
Exactly.
Mario.
Yeah.
at Trader's Village, blah blah blah,
And guys, that's not Mario's not putting money in our pocket.
No.
We're not corporate shills. You know what I mean? I mean, like this is from a partnership.
These guys are
of,
just too good to me.
yeah, over 20 years of friendship.
We've been around, and it's
you
just
know,
no one treats us like Mario does.
Totally, totally. So Mario, let me ask you something. When you're doing that kind of deal with somebody, what is it you see? You see this person maybe they're collecting that for themselves. They're just like, I'm a huge Wolverine fan, but 181 is the holy grail. I'll never own it because it's always there's something about it that makes you want to help that person out.
It's the passion. I can see it.
Okay.
I can smell it. I can read
I
it.
feel
I can
like
read
you
it.
can, yeah.
Now don't get me wrong. I've got guys that come in here that are those guys you're talking about. They're in it only for the cash. You know what I mean? They want to stick it to me.
They show up for a
and
free
get
signing
something,
with a stack, right? Yeah, we've seen that guy.
kind of
Those
thing,
guys.
and I can smell those guys a mile away.
Oh, yeah.
But when I get the guy that says, "Hey, I've never been able to get that issue," you know what I mean? Oh God, it's so expensive. I don't usually do layaway things like that. It's not my thing. But if I've met you before and you've come in my store and you spend hundreds of dollars like you do, you're gonna get what you need to get for that book.
Right.
I'm gonna get it into your hands.
Totally.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna make it happen for you. So I'm gonna you know what? Just give me this.
Yeah.
And I said, we'll work the rest out later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That book is yours. You know what I mean? Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, man.
That kind of thing.
Definitely. Definitely.
If you're a smart businessman and you're a good businessman and you treat everybody right, it's coming back. It's coming back to you.
Absolutely.
It's coming back
Absolutely,
to you. People think, oh man, why'd you do that? Why you do that? Why you sell that for so cheap? You know what I mean? I'm not selling it for cheap. I said I'm selling it for what it's worth. And I'm selling it to somebody who wants it badly.
You're a guy that I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think I am. You're a guy that I feel like you can see, you've probably, as much as you've sold, you've given it back into your customer. You know what I mean? In some way or another. I've literally been and heard you, in the old days, in the Collectors Authority days, cut a deal with someone on a big statue that was like a price that I would overhear and I'd be like, oh my gosh, and you'd be like, we'll work something out. We'll do this. I know that at one time, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I know at one time, there was a guy that was hurting and whatever was going on in his life, I don't know, but you were doing like a consignment with him pretty much, but you weren't taking anything. You were letting him sell his stuff in your store. I think it was a collection of statues, I think.
Right.
And I was like, what the hell? Like, why are you, you're doing all the work? I didn't get it. You know what I mean?
This is what we did, and I won't say his name or anything like that, but one of my good customers was incarcerated. You know, not everybody bad is incarcerated.
No, definitely
Good people.
We know that a lot.
Yeah.
And so that happened, and he was away. We started writing to him. You know what I mean?
That's awesome, man.
Writing to him. There was a time when we could send books to things like that, and they stopped doing that after a while. You couldn't open packages. They had to come directly from Marvel or DC. They couldn't come from a comic shop anymore or anything like that. But we tried to keep his morale up and everything, and he got sentenced to a little something, and I kept writing letters to the probation the parole board, saying everything I possibly could about this gentleman and how he was not a bad person.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I would write as often as I could, and he would write us. You know what I mean? And we'd write him back and tell him what's going on. And
it's probably everything to him, man. It's probably everything to get that letter.
Says, I need to sell my Bowen statue collection. And I said, tell your brother to bring it over. I said, we'll start selling it for you.
Sure.
We started. Wow. I mean, every Bowen statue he bought from me. He bought them all from me. He was one of my greatest customers, so that's why I felt compelled. I wasn't just, I got his money, he's gone. What do I care?
Yeah.
No. He was more than that to me.
That's
like
awesome.
You guys. And so we did that. Pete and I, we did that. People were coming in, and I told him, can I cut some slack, cut some deals for some of my people? You know what I mean? Do what you want, Mario. His brother would come by every couple of weeks, and we would say, here's $500. Here's $2,000. We had a good week with your statues. Here's that. Send it to him. Send it to him. And we went through pretty much his whole collection.
Yeah.
And got him the money he needed and kept writing and until the parole board released him.
Wow.
You know what
awesome,
I mean?
Man.
And not to pat myself on the back, but I'd like to think that I had a little bit to do with that because I cared so much about this guy and I wanted them to know what kind of man he was.
Yeah.
And so when they released him, it was just like,
oh my gosh, man!
And those are the little things that people don't see all the time, or people think that store owner does that. You know
No,
what I
I've
mean?
never heard of anything like that in my life until right now. That's an incredible
That
story,
was a-
man.
that
And
was a-
that's
that was a good
that's a
thing.
testament, to your character. Double A, without we've already had the Pat Mario on his back's probably sore from all these pats on that. But what are some other things that you want to get into and ask Mario? I know you have a list, an idea, some things that we want to get into.
So for every one of us, we always have that one issue that we love, we hold on to. We're never going to sell it. What is that for you?
Oh, I love that question.
I was hoping you were going to kind of ask me that, and I told you guys I'm going to surprise you with some of my answers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And one of my all-time favorite books is right behind me. It's right there. And guess what it is? It's the Superman Spider-Man.
Oh,
the
the
giant-
giant,
the century.
You know, it's a treasury edition,
Nice.
but it was a brand new story at the time. It was that's my original copy that I
very
bought
nice.
in 1976.
Very nice.
That's not for sale.
Sentimental value. Yeah, on the back of it says not for sale.
That's rocking.
You know,
Nice.
I've had several copies of that and sold them on the premises of I love the story and this is why you should have this book.
Can we get it
You
down?
know
Can we
what I
show,
mean?
can we show the camera?
Yeah, bring it
Or
down,
something?
bring it down.
Nice.
But
very
that
nice.
book was one of the very first times that Marvel and
A
DC had
crossover.
decided to do
Yeah,
a
crossover.
crossover, and who better than
The
little
two
Neil
biggest.
Adams
Yeah.
and
Show that to
Spidey,
the
and
camera
this is
there.
my personal copy right here of the Big Treasury edition, the
You
Battle,
can just
Battle
see
of the
spine,
Century right there,
How it just
1976.
that nice glow.
What does that say on the back there, Charles?
1976, my personal copy, not for sale! Exclamation mark.
My
I
dad-
know the feeling.
Anybody who knows me very well knows I lost my dad at a young age when I was 18. My dad bought me this.
Oh,
I
very
begged
nice.
for, what was it, $2? That was
a
a
lot
lot.
of money.
That was a lot.
Ooh.
But dad bought me this, and so it's always been in the bottom of my drawer forever. When I started collecting, it stayed there. It's followed me to Collectors Authority. It's here with me at Authority Comics
Just a
now.
great cover.
This
It's
is
gorgeous.
great.
I know,
And it's just
it
sentimental
pops.
value. It's not the
Yeah.
most expensive thing in
No.
the world. You can probably find a near mint copy for a couple of $100, but it's very sought after. People
Yeah.
don't see these
Oh,
that
yeah,
often.
no.
But it's got a great little story in there with Lex Luthor and Dr.
It sure
Octopus
does.
too.
Yeah.
And if you ever get a chance to read it, it'll blow your mind.
Okay.
I mean, think about that. I mean,
Oh, number one, the cover pops. I wanted to
Yeah,
show
it's
because I hope
great.
my nephew will see this because he
It's
always
great.
is
Yeah.
big on does Marvel ever in DC ever fight each other? So I was telling him about the old '90s. The voting contest, and he was like, I had his attention. I had the hook in him, and I was like, okay, I got to keep going because I'm trying to get him, into our world. He's not all the way there yet, but this is beautiful. Neil Adams, you guys said, right?
yeah, Neil
Ever
Adams
thought
and,
he comes? You never thought of getting it? No,
No,
because
no.
it's its own.
We won't
it's
get
its
into
own-
Neil Adams. I got a story. I'll tell y'all off camera about
Oh.
that.
I got to hear that Neil Adams story. Yeah, I've met him.
Yeah.
You've met him
Yeah,
too.
and I told you too. I met him once, and that was good enough for me.
Yeah,
so.
I felt that way too.
So-
Although
Yep.
I did see what all the stuff he did for Siegel and Schuster, and I thought
Yeah,
that was a great
yeah,
story.
Yeah, that was
a
great
great
stuff.
story.
That was great stuff. But
What about you, Sam? What's a comic thing you're never gonna sell?
That I would never sell. I can't say that because I sold one collection already and I regret it every day.
Mhm.
But I don't know what I was thinking at that time or whatever. It's something now. I will say this. So from you, and this is going to be the answer a couple of times, just so you know. My dad, when Into the Spider-Verse came out, my nephew went nuts for Spider-Man in that moment. We took him to the movies to see it together. We sat there. He loved it. He was singing the music from it. And he was pretty little. I mean, Spider-Verse came out 2 years ago. Now he's 7, so he was 5, I guess. And he loved it. And my dad says, I'm going to get Mijo the first appearance of Miles Morales.
holy
I said,
shit.
good luck. I
Yeah.
said, I already know. So I was like, I don't know. And then he's like, let's go talk to Mario. You think Mario has it? I said, Mario probably does have it. Yeah. I said, okay, and I said, you'll probably get a better deal with Mario than you were anywhere else, but it's still going to be expensive.
He did.
He got a great deal. It's slabbed. I saw this one right here. I think it is a 9.8.
if I'm correct,
Mhm.
I believe I sold that to your dad for under a couple of $100.
I can't remember. I
And
can't remember.
It was priced a little bit above that.
Yeah.
We gave him a deal. We came in a little bit under that.
Yeah.
I don't know if your dad knows that that's probably over $1,000 now.
He probably doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm
He
the
knows.
caretaker.
He knows.
I caretake.
He knows now.
That's why he's gonna
You
give
better
us
hope
some
he's
other
not
questions.
watching.
I know. Dad, did you get off yet?
But that was a good buy. That was a good buy.
Yeah,
And
great
this
buy. Hell yeah.
gets us into where comics are at now.
Mhm.
I mean, that happened almost overnight. You know
Uh-huh.
what I mean?
Right.
All of a sudden, people came out and were looking for Miles Morales stuff,
Yes.
and,
Yes.
stuff and it got heated up across the internet and across everywhere. And every copy that I sold probably doubled and tripled 3-4 weeks later.
I mean, how about this? The guy's the star of his own game now on the hottest gaming system in the world, hard to find. Incredibly, if you do, it's going to be expensive. It will be the gift of gifts for Christmas time, which we're at right now. Miles Morales game, you know what I mean? Like Spider-Verse was one thing that may have cracked open the gate, but then the flood just came, right? And it was like, now this is the man. I started seeing the figures everywhere, and I was like, oh, here it goes. It's one of those things. It was like when the first Deadpool movie came out, and it caught people that weren't into Deadpool. I've never been a Deadpool guy. I don't think I own. Well, I do. Dad bought another slab Deadpool book. I think it was a random. I think it was a high grade. He bought it based on that.
A lot of people didn't really know much about Deadpool.
Yeah.
He had been around for quite some time.
You had to be a big fan of his to like him.
Timing was right.
Because when I was able to get it, I actually got it for about $10. Because him and Cable were never big sellers.
Right.
I was able to buy Cables first for like $10 too,
Yeah.
at the time.
They were stagnant at those prices for a long time.
They were.
For a long time.
I was able to buy them. Now, like when I show people the Deadpool first appearance, they're like,
I feel like all that '90s stuff was because I know you had like Rogue, Gambit. You guys had like just like that
we
cluster
did
of
because
characters.
they were
Apocalypse.
affordable. Though.
Mhm.
Let me
Apocalypse
ask
was
you-
only $8.
Let me ask you a question, Adam. Now you paid. You know what you paid for that. You got it back then. Now you come into a store and you see a 9.8 on the wall, and you know that a 9.8 is $1,200
Yeah.
now.
Mhm.
What does that do to you though? What does that make you?
Now
say?
it makes me want to seal it
Does it
up.
make you scratch your head and go, "Wow," you know what I mean? Maybe I need to,
Seal it
grade
up.
some of my books.
Yes, and I've actually
put 'em away
talked
for later.
I've actually talked to Charlie about that, about getting my Spawn issue one, the one that I bought from you, because I still have it in really good condition. And then another thing that I didn't realize because I had stopped buying comics for a while is that I actually had Black Panther issue 2, was Shuri's first appearance.
Nice.
And I didn't know until me and Charlie, we follow like a comic book guy on Twitter, where he bought that comic for like $200 or something. I was like,
Yep.
what the hell?
It's spiked.
And I looked on eBay and I started looking, and it's like graded comics, $600, $700. I was like,
man.
whoa, for
Yeah.
Black Panther. And Charlie, I lent it to him, and he was just reading it like just casual.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like we have two worlds right now
Yeah.
in the collecting business. You
Yeah.
guys seen my wall. I have a massive wall of raw stuff.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You can come in and buy
Yes.
something like that raw, take it home yourself,
Yeah.
send it in to get graded, reap the benefits of
Sure.
that. Or you can come and see the 9.8 up on the wall and pay, 500% more
Right.
I know,
sometimes.
it's nuts.
Right.
That's the difference
It's
between
nuts.
some of the more modern collectors who will do that.
Yeah.
They'll come in and pick it up now and saying, that's staying in my collection and got nowhere to go but up,
Yep.
and I'm gonna pay $500, $600 for it now because I want it graded, that kind of thing.
Now, see, this is where I'm kind of split now. So, I love the movies. I love the comic book movies, but it's also hurt me in a way, and I think it's hurt a lot of people that were like us in terms of trying to get back to comic business, collecting again, and it's not there anymore. Again, where you could have bought Apocalypse's first appearance for $5, Mr. Sinister for $5. You're not going to find that anymore. Now everything's up the ass.
Yeah.
$50, $60 now for just a comic, just a regular comic. You're like, golly, I can't really start that collection again. If I'm trying to buy 70s issues, 80s issues, it's going to be so much harder than what it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
When we were able just to pull it off from the box, not even the wall,
Right.
the box.
Well, you
oh,
got
look, cool.
yeah.
They have first Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Boom.
What has happened is the turnaround time for being exposed to that particular issue is so little now compared to what it used to be. When I was hunting, I had plenty of time. I was hunting and looking where nobody was looking, and the internet wasn't even around, so I had plenty of time to dig up and find what I wanted before anybody knew what it was.
Exactly.
Now it doesn't happen anymore. Everybody knows what it is.
Everybody
now.
knows, and
It's-
I hate that so much in a way. I
Yeah.
know it's good for you guys, but
Yeah.
for me, as just like a comic book lover, now the books I used to find in the boxes are now on the wall, graded, and it's just out of reach now. And it's
Sure.
it kills me every time. To go to Comic Cons, to go to certain comic stores, it's like, golly, I can't really
Just
afford
buy
that
those
now.
graded books up and crack them open.
Right? Yeah. So
Don't do
it's
that. Don't
kind
do
of a love hate.
Do that.
It's kind of a love hate with.
Let me
the
get a bunch
movies.
of hate comments in a minute.
It
kind
is
of a love hate with the comics and the movies.
Sure.
It is.
Yeah.
And you know me,
Yeah.
I mean, I was all about the old school book,
Mhm.
having it in my hand. I sold nothing but raw books in the first 10 years of my career. Raw books. You know, I wanted people to have the nice, highest quality of a raw book they could have.
Right.
I didn't want to, when I heard about CGC, I wasn't a big fan.
The idea of mailing my book off felt like that doesn't feel safe.
Yeah, that doesn't feel safe. Yeah.
We talked about that. I said, how do I know some guy's not there sipping his coffee, just spills it on it, and he's grading 5 Fantastic Four 48s, and he's like, just put this one in there. I don't know. How do I get
This one looks better than that one. You know.
Or maybe he's like, oh, well, I'll put this in my own stack for me to go home, and I'll give him this, beat up ass 7,
that's
and I'm taking his 9 or whatever,
It's still a very big possibility, but it's such big business now.
I know.
You know
It's
what I
gotta
mean?
be-
Reputation is
Reputation.
everything. These guys have the reputation. You know, I mean, there's still a lot of gray area
Yeah.
that needs to be covered with them, but it's they corner the market. You know,
Yeah.
and people are into it now, and they're thriving. CGC.
But you know what? Yeah,
is a
20
big
years
one.
later, you know what? I still get really excited though when I do come to the comic book store. Me and Roxanne were talking,
Mhm.
and she showed me a book that she just threw on the bed. Right, one of them is the first appearance of Captain Marvel, the little girl from the Captain Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Where she becomes Captain Marvel.
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
Amazing Spider-Man Annual 16 or something. I was like,
Oh, you're talking about Rambo.
yes. I was
Yeah.
like,
Monica
I was
Rambeau.
like this, like, because she had to like just throw. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Cover.
I was like, please take care of that book. That one. I was
Yeah.
like, please take care of that one, please.
But see,
Gonna
here's
blow
the
up.
deal. You know, that Marvel Cinematic Universe, I mean, what did Disney just do? They just posted the next 10 movies,
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they
right?
did. Yes.
I mean, I can't even go search for those
Nope.
books because they're on fire already
People
overnight.
know. Yep.
Because
People know.
they made
Yeah.
those announcements.
Now it's
they
like-
heated up the books. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Werewolf by Night, first appearance
yeah.
over here.
Yeah.
Incredible Hulk, of course. Blade, first appearance. Those
Awesome.
things just keep
Mhm.
going up, up, and up. But
Um,
there's no hole there or frame for you to
Right.
get in there.
Mhm.
You
Right.
got to just be watching at all times
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
and that's what I do now. I watch at
Yeah.
all times.
Do you still get geek, Mario? Like, what things still get you like kind of like tug on your geek chain and make you be like, oh, like they're gonna do that or they're gonna do what is there still books that come out, or there's still writers that you want to read? Are there movies? Do you go see all the Marvel movies? Is it
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I love the Marvel movies.
Okay.
I don't think there's one that I did not like.
Yeah,
you know,
I
some of them
almost
I
agree.
didn't believe they were going to be able to pull off,
Yeah.
and
Same
they
here.
did. You know what
Guardians. I think we were all like,
yeah.
that's not gonna happen.
Guardians is incredible.
Oh
you
my
know, Doctor
gosh.
Strange. You know what I mean? Nobody even cared about Doctor Strange. We weren't
No.
selling Doctor Strange
No.
anything.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange Cumberbatch does an excellent job.
Yes, he does.
Doctor
Great
Strange
job.
is one of my most asked for comics nowadays.
Mhm.
You know, it's amazing. So you have to take that into consideration.
sure.
The power that has to bring people in for certain books now. You
Yeah.
know, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
oh yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, guys, sorry. We probably lost a bit of the audio on the podcast versions. We're talking comics. Right, here we go. But we've been
Did
here
you
with
just
you guys.
miss that whole thing I said?
No, it's going to live here. It'll live here on this version, but I may have
Yeah,
lost it on that
yeah.
other version.
I was giving you some of my best.
I know it wasn't the all of it. There was come hear that part on Facebook. We'll rewind you to get back there, guys. Let's take a little minute here to go through, read
Go
some
up,
comments.
go up.
We got quite a few that came in.
Right. Go.
I think we're going up more. Okay,
Yeah.
here we go. Okay, here we go. Tell me when to stop.
No, this story.
Right there. Yeah.
Okay, we got
Thank you,
David Delgado says, yeah, he just love the store. Awesome place to shop. She's not lying. Mom says, yes, Mario made it happen for me with my card holders. Okay, this is my good buddy DJ. DJ just did a little cool video for us on. He makes music, man. He did a little video for our Christmas episode with Die Hard,
yeah,
and he put this really nice. He does this really nice, like melodic, like chill music called lo-fi music. He's a
Amazing.
great artist, man. DJ says he just finished the Miles Morales on
Ooh.
PS4. Oh, awesome, man!
Nice.
Very badass. Yeah, me and DJ is a huge fan of the show. That he was like, man, you guys make me want a podcast or whatever. They always hear us throw out your name. Aaron is here. What's up, Aaron? I don't know if you got to catch Aaron's burger show. He was on that burger YouTube show for a while.
okay.
He says, hey guys. He said, Mario is the man. That's just two Mario is the man already here.
Oh, there you go. Question.
And he says, how can a newbie get started? You know what? We saw another question though earlier. Before we get to that, somebody said, and I think I missed it. I want to make sure I read
Really?
it. Did it go away?
think
Somebody said, talk about, yeah.
The-
Oh, go up.
The effect on comic
Or
book
down.
stores.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
right,
the
right,
new
right, right.
stuff
That's
and
what it
things
said.
like
So y'all
that.
did read it. Okay.
Which we kind of got into a little bit.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
kind of talked about that already. Okay.
So
Yeah.
Aaron's saying, how could a newbie get started for comic books?
He says that would be me. I would probably spill soup on
Oh,
this.
jeez.
Oh, we talked about
What
that.
I always tell everybody is, first and foremost, start with something you really care about.
Okay.
Something that's passionate for you.
Okay.
What is your favorite movie that the Marvel Universe has done? You know what I mean? Start there.
That's a
So
good one.
you're already ahead of the game because
Mhm.
you're getting something you're enjoying already.
Yeah.
And then you start working your way through it. You come in my store, I'm going to send you in the direction you need to go.
Right.
You know, I'm going
Right.
to start you off with something inexpensive, something that's a good read about that character, and say, start with this.
Nice.
And then if you dig that, we'll go to this, and we'll go to that. And I try to keep that going with my customers so that when they do come in, they're ready for something, and I'm prepared for what they want.
Sure.
And I like to try and, you know, it's very hard with. Not sometimes I'll forget, but,
Yeah.
but you know, but usually when I see somebody, I put it all together right when I see them. I know what he likes. I know what she likes.
Yeah,
I know why
definitely.
they're here.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And then I listen. You know what I mean?
That's what it
that-
takes, man.
That's
That-
the big thing.
That's exactly what we've been saying. So Albert says, "What's up, Mario?" And then Aaron says, "What would be the books that Mario would recommend to buy first? The ones that would be worth the most in 5 years?"
There's the question.
There it is. We
Are you
all
that
wanna
guy,
know.
Aaron?
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Aaron's that guy
Yes, he
that's
is.
learning the stock
Hold on.
market, buying Bitcoin.
Yes.
You know what
Let
I
me
mean? So-
consult my crystal ball here.
Where is it at?
Aaron, real quick. No,
Hey,
I'm just
I
kidding.
didn't know Black Panther issue 2 was going to be worth anything. You know, Shuri's first appearance, I just had it thrown somewhere. Modern books aren't really worth that much. Like Ultimate Spider-Man #1 is the only one I can think of that was really broke
Right, yeah.
for a modern
Yeah.
comic.
Or even you could probably get an unslabbed, right, Mario? You could probably get a Spawn #1 fairly.
yeah, you
Yeah,
can.
yeah, you can still get that for
They're
20
going to do a
bucks.
movie with Jamie Foxx, Aaron. You get yourself a Spawn #1 right now in very good condition. You can come show it tomorrow, tell you if it's good.
You
know, what I
know,
mean?
we were just talking about how I bought a lot of the Image #1s. I bought Youngblood. I bought, Wildcats, real cheap.
Yeah.
$4,
yeah.
$5 there.
There's still
You
people
know,
from that
Savage
era
Dragon.
that are still trying to complete those
Yeah.
runs. And now for me, they want a clean copy.
Right.
And of course, the glut from the '90s.
Yeah.
Yes.
There were dollar boxes
Yes.
everywhere. We missed the
Oh, my
dollar
goodness.
boxes, but dollar boxes did a lot of damage.
Oh,
They
shit.
did.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They did a lot of damage. So when you're trying to find some of those issues, they're beat up to heck. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I pride myself on having some of the cleanest books around.
Yeah.
So I look for that stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to make a lot of money off it, but you're going to get a clean copy of it. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
I think
You know?
everybody dreams about like an Action Comics #1 that's
Oh.
going to just suddenly
The
become,
Holy
you know
Grail.
what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
know, you've got to tell yourself that they only print 5 and then like, they did the golden ticket and just distribute them across the world. If you get one, yeah, I mean, but you never know.
But here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. This is what everybody's looking for now. If you want to get started and you're going to be collecting, what is it all about now? It's all about the first appearance
Yes.
of
Yes.
somebody.
Right, right.
You
right,
know,
right.
so you can go to certain places, certain websites, and everything, and they'll tell you, first appearances of all these people. And people are coming out of nowhere. Characters are coming out of nowhere, and they're putting them in the movies.
The one
and
y'all just
things
said,
are going-
the
happening.
Rambeau girl, the Ironheart.
Monica
thing they're doing.
Rambeau,
I'm like,
you know?
I'm not. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
okay. Who knew?
Yeah.
Now they're doing a whole movie. So
Yeah, so she's going to be really, really big. There's lots of things
Aaron
on
says,
on
are
the
there
table.
comic books that are true stories?
you know what? I won't say that there's not.
They imitate
because-
life, though.
Yeah, because we've talked before about Garth Ennis. He's my favorite writer, comic writer,
Yeah.
and he did a lot of stuff called War Story, which is a lot of World War II, World War One stories that were, I'm sure, based on factual stuff.
You probably like Garth Ennis.
He's so well read, Aaron, that if you read it, it's like you feel like you're watching a war movie. That's how accurate he calls things, weapons by their real names, planes by their real name. He has the characters that are in the issues in the military talking the way military guys would talk, which to me has always been like, even though you're like, well, how can I follow that? I don't know how they talk, but what you know, it's just like when you watch a war movie, you're like, I don't know all the terminology, but I know that they're obviously versed in what they're saying, so it helps you make the story more real.
We got a good question right here. Marvel should be able to answer this.
It says resellers may be looked down upon, but at the same time, do you guys think it helps to expand the fan base as a secondary effect?
So resellers may be looked down upon,
Mm-hmm.
but do you think it helps to expand the fan base?
That's a great question.
Resellers.
That's a great question.
It's a slippery slope.
Who wants to go first? Who wants that one?
go
Mario, you're
That's
up.
Mario.
It's a slippery
Mario.
slope. You know what I mean? There's a guy that always wants to come in and always wants to get the cheapest price he can possibly get
Of course.
on a book.
Of course.
You know, and they're adamant about it, and then sometimes it can even be insulting.
Mhm.
You know.
Yep.
But I
Yep.
guarantee you, when it comes time for him to turn the book around, you know, he's going to have a different attitude.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he's not going to have that same mentality as you know, well, I'm just going to sell it for this much. He's going to go, no, I'm going to sell it for that highest
Right.
price it goes for.
Mhm.
You know, so it's
I
give and take.
bargained
It's
on
give and take.
I bargained on eBay before and actually said like, hey man, like for what it's worth or whatever. I'm like, I'm not going to resell this. This is for me to read and enjoy.
I'm not a big fan of resellers.
You know what I mean?
I'm
So,
not.
you know, but I do agree with Mario. Do I think that it expands the fan base? Yeah, because there is something about the hunt. There is something about
It is. The
you
hunt's
know
very exciting.
you want to go after that stuff.
I don't want to
mean,
call it an evil,
yeah.
but it is a necessary
It's a
evil.
necessary
Yeah,
evil.
It's a
yeah,
necessary
yeah,
evil.
yeah.
It's part of the system. It's just the way it goes. You know what I mean?
Gabriel expanded. I dream of Strange Tales 110 in my collection all the time.
All
Till
the
then,
time.
it's
First
just a
Doctor
dream.
Strange. First Doctor
I got to
Strange.
see it at Comic-Con. It's a really cool looking comic.
It's funny for me to hear you say that. No one cared about Doctor Strange. My dad's always been a Silver
you told
Surfer
me.
and a Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, my picture with Stan Lee. I turned my hands like this. Which people look at the picture, they go, "Your hands are upside down." Spider-Man's like this. And I said, "No, my sister's hands are right." So that's Spider-Man, and I'm doing the Doctor Strange because he's always. I know he's.
Yes.
Stan has always said he's a
Ditko.
fan of
Steve
Doctor
Ditko.
Strange. Yeah,
Right.
which I heard that he used to point to stuff like that. Steve
Mhm.
Ditko would point like that. So when he drew his
That's
character,
pretty
he
awesome.
drew him facing like that. Let's see what Albert. So we're gonna do a few more comments, guys. Then we're gonna go back into the
There's
recording,
one for you,
and then we'll
brother.
do that.
Jeff Johns, Brian Michael Bendis, two of my favorite writers.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Albert. For Albert.
Excellent writers.
Hey Mario,
Excellent
what's your
writers.
favorite writer and artist? You know
from
what?
Albert.
Let me start recording again, Albert, and
Oh,
then we'll
okay,
get that one
okay.
going. So I'm going to bring us right back in, guys. Guys, we're sorry if our last comments ran into a void. I stopped paying attention to the timer because I'm a bad host. So I apologize for that, but we are back. And if you want to hear what Mario was talking about, go and check out the Facebook Live recording, which will be soon housed in YouTube.
YouTube.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'll watch the timer. 30 minutes, remind me, guys. But we just got a great question in the comments, and I wanted to bring us back on to answer that because it's directed at Mario. Albert Olivares, who does
For
our
Friday
music,
Night Faithful,
is
yeah.
asking, hey Mario, what's your favorite writer and artist? I want to know this too. This is
Yeah,
actually in
same
my
here.
list.
Well, of course. Again, you guys know how old school I am,
Mhm.
so you know I go back to the early years. You know what I mean? I'm a big Jim Starlin fan. You know,
Nice. Very nice.
Good,
Very
good
nice.
writer.
Jim Starlin brought
Yeah,
us
there we go.
the cosmic universe.
Yeah,
You know, period.
show him the
You
ring.
know
Mario.
what I
Show him
mean?
the ring right there. Kiss
Mario
the
has
ring,
it.
guys.
He has it. He owns the
All
world.
the stones are there, guys.
But anyway, Jim Starlin.
And
I
with
mean,
the
he's
snap.
just amazing. He was way ahead of his time.
Let me
you
check that
know.
out. Let me check that. That's
He
pretty
was
good.
way, he was way ahead of his time, you know. And
Is this a bank?
yeah, that's
Oh,
bank.
it's a
That's
bank.
That's a
Okay.
bank. But you know, so
Hey, hon, Christmas not here yet. Santa.
You know,
Oh, shit.
all those cosmic heroes. I mean, they're some
Oh,
of the
yeah.
most powerful
Yeah.
heroes
Oh, yes.
out there,
Yes.
and not a lot of people know about them.
Who wrote cosmic characters good? Him?
Jim Starlin. Jim Starlin.
That's
you
like
know
what blew it up. Like there was really like I feel like they still kind of can't get
Stan
that
tried,
right.
and he couldn't with Silver Surfer.
Well, I think the inception was
It
good
was
in
there,
there. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But you know, it's always like how we talk about Wolverine's creator, which was Len Wein, right?
Yes.
Len Wein.
Yeah, Len
And we're
Wein.
like, but he didn't really become the Wolverine that we know until Claremont got
Claremont,
a hold of him. And then you're
right.
like, now here's the
Right.
Bub and the Logan and the
best
adamantium's
at what
attached
I
to the
do.
best at what he does, and this kind of tragic guy, you know what I mean, that can't fall in love. Everything goes wrong, and he's trying to do the right thing, but he's filled with rage, and he's, you know, thinks he's an animal. And you're like, damn, all that doesn't come from the guy that created him. That comes from the guy that took over next, and he really kicked ass.
1975, you know, ushered in the rush of the talented writer.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, the writers
Yeah.
that we all were going to get used to. You know, the older writers were writing for a certain generation.
Totally.
You know what I mean? So
Totally.
it was time. I mean, look at the X-Men. I mean, you know, the X-Men were dormant
My favorite book.
but
My favorite
you guys won't believe this, but I never read an X-Men book
No.
in my childhood.
Before.
Ever.
Oh, okay,
ever.
okay.
I wasn't reading
Okay.
X-Men. I was doing the whole Marvel universe except X-Men.
Yeah.
You know, and I was following all the big books and stuff, and I was just so surprised that it took till 1974 and Giant Size X-Men #1,
Yeah.
which is up there too,
Oh,
to
very
usher
nice.
in a new beginning for the
Very
X-Men.
nice.
Changed
I'm
practically,
gonna get that down to show you
Yeah,
guys.
that's a really
practically
really great
saved
issue.
the comic book
Mhm.
business,
Mhm.
and X-Men remained strong sellers for such a long time after that. Yeah, there's a big.
If you see
Oh my
this,
goodness.
if you see this in like
Aaron.
half price books, if your grandma or your grandpa has this like in an old attic,
Chest or
keep
something?
it forever and ever. And come see Mario and get it protected and take very very good care of it. You know, to me, and I don't mean to interrupt you guys, but if the X-Men had stayed the original X-Men that we saw with Angel and the Beast and I would never have ever read an X-Men comic. This cover and this
It's cool because they
is
got-
what made me
yeah.
be like, I'm excited by
It's
this.
different
It's a changing of the
characters.
guard.
It's
Changing
different
of the
races
guard.
in here. You got a Russian guy. You got a African queen.
Evolution.
Native
a
American.
Canadian,
Yeah.
a Native American.
Yeah.
the evolution of comics,
Yeah,
period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is the X-Men to me. And it's so funny because you've got the old team in the background. They're like in the shadow, like, who are those lamos? And then you've got these
You
awesome
mentioned this
new guys.
earlier.
Is this okay to
Mike
talk about
Plug.
this?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's fine. Mike Plug, Ghost Rider.
Mhm,
You
mhm.
know what I mean? Bernie Wrightson. The Swamp Thing.
Yes, yes.
Those artists.
Okay.
I'm an art guy too.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I love art, and and I just can't get enough of the old stuff. But those two guys are what did it for me, and
Okay.
wanted me to want to read something just for what I saw on the cover.
So to
And
answer
and
Albert's question,
amazing artwork.
writer Jim Starlin, artist.
Artist, it would have to be Bernie Wrightson
Yeah.
for me. I think
Nice.
Mike Plug.
And,
Ghost Rider, like
Yes.
you said, the original
Yes,
Ghost Rider.
yes.
And
Those
Bernie
issues are
Wrightson.
great.
Oh, yeah.
Anything
Yeah.
horror. If you ever get a chance to look at Bernie Wrightson's rendition of Frankenstein,
Oh,
I mean, the detail,
Nice.
it's incredible. It's
I'd
like
love to see that.
and it was like way before its time, way
Yeah,
ahead of
that's
its
what I'm saying,
time.
man.
It's like
Those
going in a
guys.
time capsule and saying, "Who's this guy and how does he draw like that?" And
Yeah.
then of course we get guys like Todd McFarlane
Oh,
who
yeah.
come in and change the game again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now everybody, I mean, the Matina that we have now, Art Germ we have now, Alex Ross we love, you and I.
Love
Yes.
Alex
You know,
Ross, yeah.
these are artists. These are
Michael Turner, you're a huge. I would have said
He was
you
my
were
guy,
a
man.
huge Michael Turner
He was
guy.
my guy.
If somebody
I
would
love
ask me
Michael
to
Turner.
guess, I would have said that was your
He's
answer.
my number one.
But
he's my number one.
What-
As for art,
Yeah.
as for just art, J. Scott Campbell is there too.
I was buying all those Fathom issues from you, and I
Mm-hmm.
had never really bought any of that stuff. 'Cause I didn't. I was like a Marvel guy, and then sometimes the DC guy, Superman, Batman stuff. And I was just like, this book is not that well written. This book is gorgeous to look at. I would just. He drew women beautifully. He drew the men.
it's
You know,
funny 'cause
looking
I think
awesome.
I think that's the problem with Image Comics. Sometimes those early ones,
Yeah,
great art, but
Yeah.
not great writing.
Gorgeous.
It was
art,
it was a lot
man.
of eye candy, and it was for what it was. Remember the bad girl craze? And,
Yes.
we
Oh,
had
yes.
Lady Death, Vampirella.
Yeah.
You know
Yes.
that thing came through and served its purpose for a while.
Gen
You know what I
13
mean?
was like a big thing.
Oh,
People were
my
all into
goodness.
Gen 13.
Yeah,
and I was like,
it was
and I remember
fantastic.
being like, man, J. Scott Campbell draws the hottest women I've ever seen. Like, that is amazing. I was reading Danger Girl because of that. Not a great story. Not a great story. I was like, this is,
But
but
it
the
was
art was
exciting to
incredible.
look at it, you know
Definitely.
what I
It
mean?
made you want to just flip and see all the
And
art.
it kind of
you know
flip
what I
flops
mean?
like that sometimes. Sometimes you're reading a book and it's a great story, but you can't get it because the art
We-
isn't what you're getting
We're
into.
talking
You're not
about
getting
that
into it.
in Truth.
Yeah.
The origin story for that Captain America.
Yes.
The red,
Yes,
white, and
yes.
black. I
Great
believe.
story, but it's like me and CM said. It was like, man, it's kind of hard with the art. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, ooh.
So
Yeah.
they go hand in hand, and sometimes you
Yeah.
get the opposite. The art
Yeah.
is beautiful and it flows, and you sometimes don't care what it's saying or what the story is,
Totally.
because it's just so nice to look
Yeah.
at.
Totally.
So Michael Turner and J. Scott are my guys when
Nice.
it comes to
Very
that
nice.
beautiful stuff and everything like that.
Awesome, man.
But when it comes to Jim Steranko from the old days,
Steranko,
I mean,
Oh,
yes,
gosh.
way
yes,
ahead
the
of his
shield
time.
stuff.
Yeah.
Way ahead of
Yeah.
his time. You know
Yes.
what I mean? So those are the kinds of things that I enjoy.
Okay, so Double A, you want to go next? You got
Yeah.
something
Well,
else?
for-
Okay, the question for. I know what you had put here. You said, is there something that you still chase? Is there a holy
yes.
grail for you,
For
Mario?
you,
Is
just for you.
or that you
I mean, it could easily be action.
one
comics
of
number
mine
one,
is
but-
sitting right there for me, and it's I've
Yeah,
always
see,
wanted
yeah,
this.
yeah.
It's the Incredible Hulk issue 181, which I'm also born in 1981, so it's also special.
Right.
But it's the first appearance of Wolverine. The cover is iconic. I've read it. I've read reprints and all that. Story's so-so. You know, I mean, it's like that's the
Well,
first
it's not
time Wolverine
Claremont,
appears in
right?
comics.
So
Yeah,
it's-
yeah,
yeah,
it's not
That's my
Claremont.
favorite
Yeah.
character. That's my favorite character.
We talked about this. And this is another good thing people might not know. I didn't know this about Mario for many years. Friends for 25 years, and works in a comic store. Come by comic store. And never asked him, "Who's your favorite superhero?" Namor.
Right.
That's
Prince
the
Namor.
Prince
Nice.
Namor, right? I
Very
mean,
nice.
He's
Great
somewhat of
pull.
Very nice.
He's somewhat of an anti-hero.
I like that
But-
about him.
But that's what I like about him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like that
I have a
about
great
him.
Michael Turner cover of
Yes.
Namor where he looks super badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way
As for-
cooler than Aquaman, in my opinion.
Yes. As
Yeah.
for a Grail, you know, I've had Submariner #1 several times. You know, passed through the store. Would I love to have a 9/8 copy? You know, they probably
does it
out
exist?
there. I haven't seen one, but if it does exist, it's probably 15 grand, probably.
Oh,
You know, in that shape.
Nice.
I might settle for
Very
a
nice.
9.2.
Okay, we're settling here.
It's a John Buscema cover.
Oh, gosh,
It's one of the
I
most
love that
iconic
guy,
covers.
man.
I'm a Hercules fan. You know what
Okay.
I mean? I don't know if you know that either, but back in the old days, I'm all about strength.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That
Great-
kind
what a
of
great- that's a great
natural
power.
Strength,
I
that
agree.
kind of thing. And Neymar fits that bill.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Yeah, he's the prince of Atlantis.
yeah,
and
it's
the
awesome.
ocean.
Awesome story.
But
yeah.
he can hang with
Oh
anybody
yeah,
if he's in the water.
He could, and
You
he
know
can
what I
slug it
mean?
out,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Look, we always said like that Defenders team is probably the most powerful team, really, when you look at it
Yeah.
from a standpoint. That
For
Defenders
sure.
team with Hulk, Neymar,
Yeah.
Silver Surfer, Doctor Strange. You
The
got the best of
Avengers
everything.
Defenders War,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
came out in the late 70s, was one of the best books I've ever won. I'd love to have it on to 116 of that in beautiful shape because it's got them all on the cover.
Yeah, that's
those are
awesome,
iconic
man.
grails for me.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
Yes.
what I love.
Okay.
You know,
So
that's
the-
what I
the-
love. So, Submariner #1, John Buscema cover, that's got to be it for me.
Nice. Very nice.
That's
So
gotta
the
be
shop
it.
owner still chases
Oh,
so
yeah.
a few
You know what I
things
mean?
out there.
I've grown accustomed to knowing that everything that I have is mine.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and there used to be a time where
yeah.
you're like, "Oh, that's not for sale. That's not for
Right,
sale."
right.
There are things that are sentimental.
That would be
value.
me. That'd be my problem.
But
Like,
I got to that point where the comics that didn't have sentimental value for me, I knew that this is what you do, man. You know what I mean? Somebody wants
Right.
it more than you, and give it to them.
like it's going to a good
Sentiment,
home,
yeah.
right? I could see that. I could see that.
It's one of my best sayings. Give it a good home. That's what
For
I tell
sure.
people when I release something that's beautiful and expensive. I'm
Yeah.
like, give it a good home,
Yeah.
and they go, I will. So
Okay.
that's the joy of it.
That's awesome. That is really awesome. Okay, Double A, something else you got? You said here we asked that Holy Grail still searching for. Okay, you might not want to reveal this, but what is the rarest thing in your collection, your personal
Oh,
collection that you? But this obviously your most prized, but
Yeah.
something that is like that is like people don't have this.
Well, there's not a whole lot of that left anymore.
Okay.
You know, I've had everything. You know what I mean?
Well, ever since you told me that story, like I fell in love with that War is Hell.
Oh yeah.
Just
yeah.
because of that story, which you told
Yeah.
me, and I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
To
and a
have
lot
a
of-
first appearance of death.
And
I
a
was
lot
like,
of people don't realize that. Can you grab that? For me?
Yeah,
See that
absolutely.
stuff? You know, that book is flying under
Yeah.
below the radar.
Yeah, when you told me about that, I was
Below
like,
the radar.
wow.
I told you what I did when I sold my first appearance of Blade. You know, I don't know if I said that on air or not. I had the 9.8 first appearance of Blade.
That's an 8 right
I had
there
the
on the wall.
9.8. I
Okay.
was probably the only one in. You know, there were only like 22 of them in the world, I
Ooh,
think.
wow.
So
Crap.
I definitely was probably one of
Holy
the only
crap.
ones. I took it to Dallas. Everybody oohed and awed about it, but it was $4,000 to $5,000 at the time. So, you know, it was going to take that special buyer to buy it. Well, eventually that special buyer came around, and he bought it, and we sold it for pretty close to $5,000.
Okay.
You know, and I was like, woo!
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
A 9.8. And 2 years later, which is now, it's $15,000. You know what I mean? So yeah, you do that, and you
Just
go.
like the old stock market, you
Should
just
have
never know.
held on to it for 2 more years, but you just never know, what's going to make it spike like that.
Yeah.
This book right here, I've had lots of offers on it. I don't want to sell it right now because it's going to be one of those books. Everybody
And
who
see,
knows
that's
who.
really cool. I never even heard of it until Mario told me about it. I would assume this is pretty damn rare.
Tell them who Death
Honestly.
is.
Death is in the comic books Thanos' mistress, the one he's trying to please. In the Infinity Gauntlet,
It's his reason for being.
yeah, in the Infinity Gauntlet, he snaps away 500,000 people to please her, not to give more food for people.
Not to bring balance.
Yeah, not to bring balance. It was
People
to-
say that story was confusing in the Infinity Gauntlet, but I don't think so. I think it was a more like made him more mad,
Oh,
the
yeah.
mad Titan. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
To tell
you
that
got to really
crazy
dig
story.
in there and
Yeah.
realize
so
that.
he's trying to please Death so much. He thinks killing 500,000 or half the universe.
Yeah, half the universe,
half the
yeah.
universe will please her, and it doesn't. And so that's really what's cool. So when Mario told me there's actually a first appearance of Death, and it's in a book called War is Hell.
Yeah.
It's an
Issue
army
9.
book. It's,
Number
an,
9.
it's an old war book. It's an old war book.
It's actual death. You can see her cover. That's how she looks all the time right there in that corner spot. I was like, wow, that's got to be super rare.
So eventually, when that does come full circle,
Yeah.
and we see her in the Marvel
And you see
universe,
how she looks right there in the corner? That's how she is in the
Yeah.
comics.
That's how she is.
Chris Claremont stories. It says here, it tells you a little bit about.
Nice.
That's pretty
Chris
awesome.
Claremont.
What's the year on
wanna-
it? What's the year on
The
it?
year it says here 74, 1974.
1974.
Very cool.
Now here's a tidbit for you. This particular issue is marked with a Mark Jewelers insert.
Ooh.
Back in the day, certain distribution areas got certain things. The Mark Jewelers insert was that hard cardboard that you run across every once in a while that has the diamond rings on it and everything like that.
Yeah.
It makes the book feel really, really thick
Yeah.
and stuff. Well, those particular distribution things were low. So they're now marking the books as having that Mark Jewelers insert in it. I sent in 2 copies of this. I got them both back in 9/8. One had a Mark Jewelers,
Wow.
the other did not. So I went ahead and let the other one
Damn,
go.
nice.
I decided Mark Jewelers insert. It's going to be even rarer when this book hits. So this one's going to stick around for
So
a while.
let me ask you real quick, Mario. I want to get into this a little bit. I don't know how much. I know this just like I need you in a whole episode
whole
just
nother-
about
But
that.
see, that's cool, just how
Yeah.
rare that is.
Yeah.
I think that was amazing when Mario told me that story. I was like, wow, that's like a really cool collection, comic that you have in your collection that I've never seen
Right.
anywhere else.
Or heard. I had heard
or
of it.
heard of.
Or even thought of to think of to ask. Because once they
hey,
introduce
what's the
that
first appearance
character,
of death? Yeah.
right? They introduce this character, it's going to go through the roof. But let me ask you real quick. So in that situation with the insert, is there a big price difference between the two? 298.
Yes.
One has it, one doesn't.
Yeah.
Is it-
There was about almost at the time about a 50%
Damn.
markup. on
Wow.
those.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
how rare in the distribution. It's like low distribution books like Spawn and stuff like that. We
Yeah.
only make so many copies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when you do have a Mark Jewelers insert in a key book
Yeah.
like
Nice.
that, I mean, God
Very
forbid
nice.
if you find a Mark
my
Jewelers
gosh.
insert
Oh.
in something
of
like
those.
that, it would just be, it becomes a premium.
I imagine it keeps the book a little bit more stiff
And it
too.
does,
It was
and I
almost
think
like it
that
being
too.
boarded back in
Yeah.
the day.
So that's really cool
Um,
that you have something like that in your collection. That's really
This
cool.
book is growing on me too because when we first came out here and talked with you, we did a TikTok and we did a little video for our YouTube, and our sound was super terrible because that day it was really windy too.
Yeah,
It was really windy.
yeah.
It's really windy right now out here, guys. I hope it's not picking up too much on the mic. I don't think so because we sound really close. But we talked about this book and Double A was upset. He's like, man, we couldn't really hear Mario because the damn wind and our sound wasn't set up right. And then it came up. Then 2 weeks ago, I came out to check the internet connection with you. We were hanging out, and a couple wanders through or whatever, and I can see her looking at the wall, and I'm like waiting to watch Mario do his thing. And pretty much she goes, "What is that? Where is Hell book goes for?" And he goes, "Well, do you know what that is?" And she said, "No, why?" And then he goes, "Well, why did you ask about it?" And so I was like, "Okay, where's he going?" and then she goes, "I asked because it's a 9/8." So that tells me her boyfriend educated her about what graded books
Oh,
mean.
I was
shit.
just about to say that a vintage book in 9/8
I-
itself, I don't care what it is,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
pretty rare.
Yeah.
Okay.
The average is
Yeah.
about a 9.2 to an 8.5 for high grade on vintage books because they were read so much.
Sure.
They were stored in different ways.
Yeah,
things
definitely.
like that. So when you are fortunate enough to get high grade vintage books, I mean, they got nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
Nowhere to go.
I love it too. Is I don't know about you, Double A, but like when people meet, they know that I'm into comics, or whatever. So throughout my life, stuff has come into my possession. Where I had someone literally drop a milk crate of like Conan's on me, like old Conan Marvels, and some of the big mags, whatever too. This is way before grading, whatever. It's like I just kept it. Eventually, I bagged and boarded it and had it. And then that probably went out in that first collection I sold. Then. My uncle just unloads on me like a bunch of stuff not that many years ago. I probably need to show it to you, but it's like a bunch of like Simplify and like there's some Excaliburs in there, like some really weird stuff. But people always want to say first before they give it to you, hey, what do you think any of this is worth anything? And I'm like,
Yes.
that's like the most loaded question you could ever ask. I'm
All
like,
the time.
I could really, where do you want to start? I'm like, we can look them up, but what this says is not going to be what this is because this has your name written on the inside of it. You know what I mean?
Condition is everything when
Yeah.
it comes to the collectible ability of that book.
Yeah.
Condition is everything. And I get lots of stuff in all the time, and I'll be honest with them when I give them their options. I said, these are the options you have. I can give you an offer, or you can do something with them yourself. If you
Right.
want to really reap the rewards of those books, you're gonna have to do it yourself.
Right.
Because when you sell them to me or you sell them to anywhere in the city, they're going to offer you a fraction.
Yeah.
If you're satisfied with that, more power to you. But if you do want to reap the rewards, you got to do the work yourself.
Definitely,
You know?
one at a time and piece by piece.
Yeah,
You know what I
piece
mean?
by
Like,
piece.
yeah,
Mhm.
it ain't like Pawn Stars. You know what I mean? You're like,
No.
I want give me 5,000 for this. It's like, nah.
And it doesn't happen all the time, but you know, there are people who come in and say, you know, this stuff is just sitting in the attic,
Yeah.
or you know, my brother-in-law passed away, or a cousin left them to me. They're sitting there. My parents want them out of the house because they're just taking up room. I'm gonna throw them away. Do you want them? You know?
Yeah,
And that
exactly.
happens every once in a while. Or what can I get for them? Or just give me anything for them. I
Right.
just want to get rid of them. I don't want to take these back with me.
Yeah.
So you know, I'll reap the rewards of that when I can, but it doesn't happen that often. But it's still out there.
It's
you
a
know what I
beast.
mean?
It's a beast to just look around.
It's funny, right? Because it's like, you know, we look at comics and sometimes we still get excited. Like when you tell me about that one, you know, I could just get that and just look at it. Not even care about the story. Not even just look at it and just
beautiful.
fall in love with it. Yeah.
beautiful.
And that's the way I feel about my Miracle Man 15. That's probably my rarest book that I own myself.
Alan Moore.
Alan Moore, yeah. The famous cover, you know.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I wanted to say something about Alan Moore earlier.
Oh, okay,
And, you know,
okay.
who Alan Moore is and everything. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't know how you know amazing he is,
Yes,
yet how
yes.
weird he is
Yeah.
too. You know, he looks like a Viking
I'm gonna,
or a
yeah.
wizard
I'm
or
gonna shut
something.
this down while you're talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, he writes books that are important.
Yes.
Books
Yes.
that mean something, that
And-
say something.
And you're not going to know because a lot of times, if you watch the movies, he takes his name off because
Right.
he's so disappointed with how every adaptation has always come about.
They weren't true to his.
Mhm.
you
But
know.
it's like, you know, no one's probably heard of Miracle Man. I actually think that's the greatest Alan Moore story for me. I think it's Miracle Man. I think 1 through 16 is probably one of the best pieces of stories you can ever read. Everything that you see now, he was doing that back in the 80s with this story, with Miracle Man.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It's a beautiful story about just losing his humanity. He becomes his ultimate superhero, but he loses his humanity at the same time. Watchmen, he is the creator of Watchmen.
V for Vendetta.
V for Vendetta, another great story. Love V for Vendetta.
And not a lot
From
of people
hell.
like it. I like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
I like
You
it too.
know what I mean?
I
That's
own the
just-
books.
Yeah,
I own
that's
the
just
books.
great stuff.
It's
but,
cool. The old characters that he uses in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. That's a really cool.
and he does that the way he wants to. You know what I mean? No holds barred. You know, I
But,
make the rules.
yeah.
It's my
His
writing.
Swamp
It's my
Thing
thing.
run is considered the best Swamp
One of
Thing
the
run.
best.
Yeah.
You know, the whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow. You know, it's considered.
So if you
Super-
do want to
Superman.
read something that's almost near to a true story or could possibly be a true story, you do want to read something that Alan Moore wrote.
Yes,
Because he
yes.
writes truth. That's
yeah,
what he writes.
and they're very affordable. You can find
Yeah.
a lot of those issues very affordable.
And-
So
Now, you never met him, right? Because he doesn't do
Oh,
he
no.
doesn't do stuff.
No, I've
right?
never
He
met
doesn't do-
him. I think he's made a few appearances, but they're very far and in between. You know.
Do you have? I know you said you have an off-air Neil Adams story, but do you have a story, like a positive, maybe someone that you interacted with that was like put you in a mindset, or maybe gave you that kind of feeling like, oh man, like you're like what I thought, or it's
For the most part, most of the people that I've gotten to meet, the idols, you know what I mean. I mean, I'm a big Frank Cho fan too. I don't know.
Oh,
if you
nice.
guys know
Very
who
nice.
Frank
Very
Cho is.
nice.
I love
Yeah.
Frank
Yeah.
Cho's artwork.
Did we meet him?
Ev- Everything from dinosaurs to ladies, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He's just he's great. I had a great experience for him one-on-one, and so he was one of the greats. Chris Claremont and Neil Adams, two of the greatest. My experiences didn't go as well
Oh,
as I
wow.
expected
Okay.
them to.
Okay.
You know, I was a little disappointed.
Okay.
Now, I always take into consideration long hours sitting at the table,
Sure,
things
sure.
like that. They get a little bit, stuff like that. But, if I'd like to say, if it were me, I'd want to give back and give my undivided attention
Totally.
to anybody who's supported me,
Totally.
especially a retailer who says,
Yeah.
man, I love your books. I sell them, you know what I mean? I
right.
push them to my customers because it's you, you know what I mean?
Well, there's
And-
so much more there
Yeah.
because you're not only a fan, but a fan that became a retailer.
Yeah.
That
But if you're gonna give me a yeah,
Oh.
that's gonna make me feel different about you.
Ugh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So it happens, but for the most part, it's been real. I got a real quick good story.
Yeah.
When I went to San Diego Comic-Con for the very first time
Ooh,
with my wife
nice.
and my kids, and we were retailers, so we got to go in early. So that's where I had the
Nice.
where I had the one-on-one conversation with Frank Cho, setting up his
Okay.
table. Walk over there, gives me his undivided attention. Tell him I love his stuff. Bought a bunch of his books, signed stuff for me. It was a pleasant visit with him.
That's awesome, man.
And then I'm walking, right, and I'm looking at the Spawn display. They had a big image. The image was huge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, wow, look at all this stuff. And so I'm looking in a case, and I stand up at the same time. The other guy on the other side of the counter stands up, and who is it?
Todd?
It's Todd.
Oh,
It's Todd.
my
It's
gosh.
Todd.
Yes.
And so, I stand up, and I'm like a deer in the headlights. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, Todd. He's like, hi. How you doing?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. Wow.
And I said, man, I know you're busy, and I never like to intrude on anyone.
Yeah.
And I said, but just shake my hand. Sometimes means more to me than an autograph.
Totally.
Yeah.
Shake my hand. I know you're busy. I know you got things to do, man. You're the best. You know what I mean? So that was one of my big things. And then last but not least, at that same con, Gene Simmons shows up. And he's walking around with bodyguards. You know what I mean? And I'm freaking out. And I'm over here at the end, far from him, but I check out his movement, and I said, he's coming down the tables. I grab my two boys, and we run, and we get in front. And I said, stay here and do not move. I said, do not move. He's going to come to us. He's not going to push us aside.
Right,
you know? So lo and behold, he comes right up, and when he gets to the thing, he does this to the boys. Like, what are we looking at? That kind of thing.
Man, that is rad.
And of course, I'm more excited than my boys are.
Yeah,
Of course.
totally.
But
You're
I'm
having
like-
that moment.
So Dad
Wow.
turns around and says, Gene, just one picture. So
Oh,
right there, my two
cool.
little boys with Gene
Nice.
Simmons at San Diego Comic
very
Con.
nice.
Anyway,
You got to show us
here-
that. You
there
got to
ended
show
the
us that
story.
picture. You
Yeah.
got to show us that picture. I got to
Yeah,
see that,
it's
man.
great.
How rad!
Very
Is
My
it-
boys don't look too excited. They're just like,
all of us would have been like, oh, yeah.
so it was cool.
Dude,
That's one
very
of my-
cool, man.
Yeah,
and you
that's
met
awesome.
Jim Lee too, right?
Yeah,
Couple
several
times?
times. And the last time we did the Dallas show, and me and my wife did the VIP thing.
Okay.
And it was really
nice.
nice. Jim
Very
Lee
nice.
does it in a much better way than most
Yeah.
people do. It's really secluded. It's only for maybe 100 people at a time, rather
That's
than
good.
all these people at a time.
Well, that way you don't tire yourself
It's
out where you're going to
separated.
become a jerk. So it's like just
He
you
was-
do as many people as you can handle, and
And the deal was, 3 books, get them signed. Don't ask him to sign anything
that's
else.
right.
Yeah,
You
right,
can
right.
shake his hand or say
Yeah.
hello to him. Take a quick picture.
Yeah.
And he was all smiles the whole time. But the fact that he signed my 3 books, and I was standing right in front of him and shaking his hand, I had my Batman shirt on, and I said, and he had the Sharpie in his hand, and I just told him, please sign my Batman shirt.
nice, very
And I have a
nice.
picture of him doing this deal right there. So I have that Batman shirt. That worked out fantastic. So that's another great story. That's another.
Let me ask you something. So when you take comic books, right, to get signed,
Right.
for you, are you taking the most expensive one? Are you taking that one?
No.
Because
it could be a personal thing.
Yeah,
for-
because
for me.
for me, like me and him, we met Jim Lee,
Mhm.
and I took X-Men issue 5 because that's always been one of my favorite covers. It's Wolverine and Omega Red just tearing
That's a
each
great
other
cover.
apart.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Nothing.
yes.
It's not worth. It's only worth $4, $3.
It's worth more now.
Yeah, but I mean, at the time, it's not one of his
Yeah.
most prized Jim Lee,
No.
drawings or
Yeah.
anything. But sometimes I take that, and sometimes people are like, "Oh, how come you didn't take this one? How come you didn't take this one?" I'm like, "No,
I
'cause
love
it
this
doesn't mean,
cover."
it doesn't mean that much to me like this one. This one I can hang it up on the wall. If they had a poster, I'd buy the poster of this.
Right.
It's that kind of
It's
stuff.
something you're more passionate about
Yes.
than the
'Cause I've
value.
seen a lot of people take, and they take the classic issues, the number ones
Yeah.
or the
Yeah.
first appearances.
Yeah.
you know?
Herb Trimp, big, on the cover.
Mhm.
Did some work on the cover. Big Hulk artist. Did some Voltron. He did a lot of great things. Herb Trimp. He was one of the oldest artists at one of the shows I went to.
Yeah.
They put him in a little table. Didn't have any signage. Nothing. He's sitting there with his wife, and I'm like, that's Herb Trimp.
Yeah.
Herb freaking Trimp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Come on. I was telling people who he was. We were set up at the show. And when I heard he was going to be at the show, what did I take? I didn't take my Hulk 181. I didn't take
That's
those,
not what
those-
I'm saying.
I didn't take my Hulk books. I have a giant size vinyl poster framed of that.
Oh, cool.
Very
okay.
nice.
Of that.
Very
Okay.
nice.
Of that. So I take it over to Herb Trimp, and I said, Herb, just need your signature on it. I said, it's going
Let's
up,
show that one then real quick.
going up on my wall, and it's going to stay there forever.
It's funny that you say that, Mark, because Denny O'Neil was the same way. Nobody was around him. I was like, does no one know it's Denny O'Neil? And
Exactly.
he didn't have prices. He was doing it for
Yep.
free.
He's the big one.
And guys, this is
That's Wolverine's first
the
appearance.
first time Wolverine ever comes out in a comic book is in this comic book, and this one is signed, Mario.
It's got a Roy Thomas and
John Romita
and a John
on
Romita
it.
Senior.
Ooh.
And John
Senior.
Romita Senior happens to be one of my favorites too.
Great
Nice.
And stuff.
Len Wein story, Herb Trimp. There it is.
That's the
Jackie
big stuff.
Wein, yeah.
Well, getting back to that
Gorgeous
signature
This
he's
is-
doing for me, right? I start talking to his little wife. And she's like, I said, so how y'all doing? She's like, oh, we're not doing real great at this show, you know, and she's real, they're elderly, and Herb's just, signing away, and I said, well, I appreciate it. I said, I love your husband's work. I mean, he's just one of the greatest, and I thank him for signing that for me. And I said, and she goes, just give us whatever you want. Just give us whatever you
my
want. You know what I mean? So
gosh.
I grabbed a $50 bill and I put it on the thing. She goes, oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And then I turn around, and what is Herb Trimp doing? He's remarking the thing for me. You know what I mean?
Oh,
you know what a
wow.
remark is?
No.
A remark is a headshot, some kind of scribble.
Oh, very
you know what I
nice.
mean?
Oh.
Yeah.
Over
Yeah.
your book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not just an autograph.
Yeah.
You know, that
I
would be
love
like Todd
those.
I've seen
McFarlane
that.
drawing,
I love
a
those.
Yeah.
Venom head on your
Yes.
book.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
that's a remark.
It's kind of like
Nice.
the reason the blank covers came out,
Yeah.
right?
So what does he
is-
draw? He draws a Wolverine head and a Hulk head
Damn.
over his autograph.
Damn.
And I'm like,
That
holy
is
crap,
right,
you know,
yeah.
that's worth another 50. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Come on, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And especially because just they're elderly and nobody was giving them the respect they deserved.
It's
I
You
weird.
know what I
and
mean?
it's so
Even the
funny.
con wasn't giving
Yeah,
them
you
that.
got to have that signage. A lot of times that's what, because you mentioned Alan Moore looking like a wizard, right? The
Yes.
reason why I knew this is because of Wizard. Remember they used to have some of
Yes.
the writers and artist pictures in the back
10,
when they were
top
showing.
10.
So that's how I knew what they looked like. Otherwise, I would never recognize these guys if I didn't see them, and I wouldn't know. And I would walk right by, just like you said. You got to have that. You know, when
It's funny
Dan
that you-
Jurgens and
yeah.
Claremont, I was like, oh, thank God they have their signs right there, because I wouldn't know
It's
the hell
funny
Dan
that you say
Jurgens
that
looked
because
like.
Neil Adams charges a lot, but Danny O'Neill didn't charge anything.
Yep.
That's cool, man.
Because I have a book for them with both of them signed, and it's
Either-
weird. It's just weird how because
Right.
I think Danny O'Neill is bigger.
Yeah.
He was the
No.
DC editor, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
he's
During
big.
the
Marvel, too.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
a customer of
And he
mine
didn't
that has this Danny
sign it for
O'Neill
free.
book
Wow.
that has everything and everything Danny O'Neill ever did. You know
Nice.
what I mean? And so his thing was to go get Danny O'Neill to sign it. And he got
Nice.
that signed.
Nice.
And it was a beautiful, beautiful book.
Okay, Char.
So
I think
I-
we need to go up a little bit.
Yeah, so I promised that I wouldn't mess up again and let Mario talk into the break, but I lied and I did. So sorry.
We need to go up a
That's
little
two.
bit.
But we're gonna get some.
two.
We're gonna get some comments in
That's
here,
two.
guys. We are on a little break here, so we're gonna read through your comments. Tell me when to stop. Oh, okay,
Right
Albert
there.
says.
Aaron said super informative, and then Albert listed some more artists for him.
Yeah, he says he likes Alex Ross, Michael Turner, and Jim Lee from Albert. He says
Those are the glory years we're
yes.
talking about. Those
Yes.
are the glory years right there. Jim Lee, Michael Turner.
I like
Alex
this question
Ross.
from Albert. So we'll get your answer on here in the break. Mario, has there ever been a story or event that surprises you that you didn't expect to do so well? I like that question. Good question,
That's
Albert.
a tough question. That's a tough one. How about you, Adam? Anything?
The Rebirth, that really exploded Green Lantern again into a big time player
Yeah.
for me.
True,
For
true.
DC, because I bought Sinestro Corps War
The
right
Return.
after that. Yeah,
Mhm.
it really made Green Lantern into a solid.
Did you
Up
feel
there.
that way about Flash also when they did the Flash rebirth
No,
and
I
Barry
didn't.
Allen?
I didn't.
No?
No.
Interesting.
I know that back when we were reading Wizard, and I when we first started this, Mario, I told Double A, I said I want us to be like the Wizard magazine of podcasts. I said where we cover like who's our dream cast. Remember they used to do all those casting calls, and it was like I can't imagine how many issues of those I bought from you, but I still have a long box just
Every
in my
month.
Wizard
Every
magazine.
month they came out.
Yeah, so I remember just like all the castings, and they would talk about shows and who was going to be doing what. I'm like, man, can you imagine now they would be doing, because there's so much more out there now. I mean, it's like when we were going to your shop at Collectors, we were dreaming of seeing a movie with Spider-Man in it or the X-Men in it or whatever, and it's like now it's like so second nature that we don't even think twice about it. But I said when we do our podcast, that's why I like that we cover many more topics or whatever. But I can remember on that topic of that question of a story that we were reading Wizard, and we'd always look the top 10, right? Who is it? Because we were just like pretty much Marvel guys, and we'd be like, oh man, we can't believe this DC book is up here. And then we were always seeing Preacher. Preacher was like number one. Preacher's like, we were like, man, but this book, what is this about a priest? I was like, look, shit looks boring or whatever. Like, man, now I love Glenn Fabry. Now I appreciate how great that is. Now that's my favorite book of all time. But I
Vertigo.
never would have guessed Vertigo.
Vertigo Comics, started, catering to its own type of reader. You know what I mean? I mean, Sandman. Sandman.
Big
#1.
Sandman guy.
I'm a
right?
big Sandman
The Crow,
fan.
the Crow's something different, but those kind of stories, you know what I mean? They started writing darker, deeper stories that people wanted to read.
I would also say Planet Hulk. I was really surprised how well Planet Hulk did.
Oh yeah,
For sure. For sure.
yeah.
I'm going to bring us back, guys, real quick on this recording. part.
Answer Aaron's question real quick.
Oh, sorry. Let me take us back to here. We're in the
He
comments.
goes, who is
here.
Neil Adams?
Famous writer and artist.
Artist mostly.
Mainly art. Okay.
Maybe the definitive Batman artist.
Yeah.
Maybe to a lot of people.
Batman,
You might-
Superman. You know what I mean?
Oh, they just had him right here. See him?
Oh,
Oh yeah, down there.
on this one.
But he's been around for quite some time. So he eventually became the quintessential cover artist.
He goes.
Almost like Michael Turner and Jace
So his
Campbell
art
became
right
later.
here.
Yes.
Aaron.
For that time, if you had a Neil Adams cover, and most of his books are slated like that in guides and everything, Neil Adams cover.
Yeah.
That's how popular and how influential he was in that time.
So Aaron, Neil
Batman,
Adams.
Superman.
Look for Neil Adams stuff.
I'll tell you what, Aaron. You're looking to make an
Don't
investment.
go see him though.
Yeah.
It'll
You
ruin
go-
everything for you. It'll ruin the whole thing for you.
You go. And maybe Mario's gonna turn me from this motion, but he goes Facebook Live and Instagram Live a lot, and I don't know what his deal is right now with money, but because he's not doing any cons, he sells these boxes. It's like a mystery box, whatever, but you can buy it through his thing. You just tell him, you comment like you're doing right here. Hey, I want to buy box 48. He'll open it up. He'll show you what's in there. He's got like his kids helping him, and it's like a hand-drawn something, signed books. It's several books that are signed that he autographs everything in that little box, like a little goodie box almost. I think he's selling them for $300, and I know that sounds steep, right? But you're getting several signed books, trade paperbacks, and signed. I don't know what a trade signed is worth, but then you're getting that actual piece of original art drawn by him. And he's got a very famous story that we kind of mentioned, Aaron, where he really bailed out the creators of Superman, who were getting no credit and no love from DC Comics, and were pretty
royalties.
much, they were living impoverished. Am I correct?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
They were,
pretty much
yeah.
penniless. And they're like, he pretty much helped them get the credit that their names are in the beginning of all the Superman books, and their names
The
got put
movie.
on the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they were able to, reap the benefit of their creation because they were not getting
And
anything.
it took somebody with his reputation and his clout to get something done like that. So
Yeah.
that was a good thing. More power to him on that.
Just
that was,
read
that was incredible.
Gabriel's.
Very interesting. Okay, John is here. What's up, John Holty Bear? He says, "Love you guys. Keep up the good work. Thank you, John." Gabriel Flores says, "What are your thoughts on the modern variant push happening from distributors, and what does it do for sellers and buyers? Is it too much? Is it just right?" Holty Bear also, Gabe, I want to answer your question, but when I start the other recording, so give me a second to get to that.
Okay.
John says, "Great stories." Albert says, "South
That's
by
where we met
Southwest."
Jim Lee, Frank
Yeah,
Miller,
Julie. And then
Brent
Mario
Bendis.
says, "I was just looking at the Hulk. How much is that?"
The 181.
Oh, the 181.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll come see
A few
Mario.
thousand.
Come see Mario. Or you can hear the Aaron says, "Preacher is fucking awesome." Aaron, why shouldn't I see him? Come see Mario again on that one. Say on that one.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
come to the store, Aaron. And,
you need to come
listen
out
to
here
the
and see Mario,
story.
and you tell him about your new house too. So you got to come out here and see him. See, it's
Okay,
been
so
a while.
pretty much Gabriel's asking, what do you think about the variants?
Let me get into that real
Okay.
quick. Okay. Guys, if you're listening on just the audio version, sorry again, I ran into Mario's talking. So if you want to get the unseen version, come to our Facebook.
It's funny because I think you're asking more actually about that with the Spawn.
Yeah,
Right?
let me read the question though for the audio listeners. Okay,
Okay.
so Gabriel asked again, guys. He says, "What are your thoughts on the modern variant push that's happening from distributors, and what does it do for sellers and buyers? Is it too much or just right?" So a couple of weeks back, Gabriel, I don't know, maybe we're watching right now, but I did have a question for Mario. We told two stories of two shops that we went to where I bought the same book. One was the Chadwick Boseman variant white cover. I went to two different places. I saw for two different prices, a difference of about $4 between $6 and one place had it for $6, one place had it for $10. So then the very next week, the same thing happened. One store was sold out, so I was forced to buy it at the higher price of $15. But the cover price was $4. But I was very curious about what it was, an incentive cover. I was very curious about what the other store would have had it for had they still had it. Didn't matter, they were out of it anyway, and I wanted it, so I paid the $15. But when it came to that Bozeman cover, I bought it first at the $10 price because I happened to be there. But then I later saw it at another store for $6, and I was like, damn it, I just threw away $4 essentially. I could have bought it here. But we did ask Mario about that. He had some good insight, but we didn't have him live. He was answering kind of us through typing, which is not as fluid. Mario, I'll let you take this question and run with it there.
Well, the whole incentive craze, started during the glory years too, as printing was becoming heavier and heavier, and it was a way to kind of get the retailer not only to order more copies, because if you order 100 copies, you can order this book, this cover, this Michael Turner, this J. Scott Campbell.
Okay.
You can order one of them, or you can order like 10 of them.
No, you would get one.
Okay.
If you ordered 100.
You bought 100 books, you're going to get one of these.
Yeah, you're going to get one of these. So there will never be enough for that to go around, of course.
Right.
So in my opinion, that was a way of giving the retailer a way to make some money, because that book was going to be worth some money instantly.
Now, is there a chance that you end up sitting on 50 of those other books, though?
Yes. That's the whole pros and cons. That's what we're getting to here.
Okay.
Now, several times as retailers, Pete and I would say, nope, got to pass on that because I don't like the way those other 50 copies taste. I'm not going to eat them.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So that was the deal.
Yeah.
So
And you know what your people coming in are buying.
And of course, the bigger stores were able to get them because they order enough. And smaller stores sometimes, well, I'm sorry, we didn't get that. You know what I mean? Then somebody would raise heck about it, and my response to that was, if you wanted the book bad enough, you could order 100 copies of it, and you will get it. You want 100 copies? I'll be glad to order them for you. You know what I mean? And okay, that's the look I got. I'm like, and I usually got some choice words from that, and they walked out the door. But that was the case. You have that perfect ability to do that too. Even with a 10, I do it now. Gabe does it now with a book. He cuts to the chase. Gabe will go and say, give me 10 copies of that because I want that one every 10.
Okay.
Variant.
Okay.
Which is like the Chad McBoseman one.
Yeah.
That was one every 5.
Yeah.
So most people who were ordering a lot of it, we're going to have some to go around. So it was the retailer's choice whether to poke you in the eye or let, at least on Wednesday, let whatever goes out the door go out the door. And then, the internet's going to take over overnight anyway. And then you have at least some just cause why to raise the book.
Right.
But not on Wednesday.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let them go. Let them do what they're going to do, what they were meant to do. You know what I mean?
I was very curious because the book that I bought was called A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, which is based on a movie that came out years ago. And if you were able to find the movie, there was literally the same book came within the DVD. But then I guess they released it in actual comic book form or whatever. So, but I was like, nobody knows about this. The guy bought it from the shop was like, I don't know what that is, whatever. And I was like, it's from some weird publisher I never heard of. And I was just like, man, it was like $15. I was like, are these going out the door? I was like, I don't think that a lot of people are buying this up. But for me, I felt like it was maybe like a steep hike. But again, I that's why I wanted to ask, because I'm not here to down on any seller or retailer at all. I love comic book stores and I love comic book guys because that's what I consider myself to be. So I mean, by all means, I get it, and I get that we're in a situation where it's like movie theaters are renting out whole theaters because they're not able to turn a buck. You know what I mean?
I think it would work better for you if you just tried to understand the incentive process. That way, when you went up to that retailer and you said, hey, I know it's one every 50 copies, you know what I mean? I can't afford to get 50 copies. Right. What can you do for me? It's all about approach and everything.
Yeah.
And somebody like me, I'm going to get the guy the book because he wants it.
I like that too. I never tried to like wheel and deal in other shops. It just doesn't feel like that. It almost feels like you're at like at a Walmart, and it's like
it does.
I'm like I can't.
Rule number 1: fear the other guy's problem.
That's right. Okay. I like that.
So you walk in there confident, and you just ask some questions. You be polite, of course,
totally.
but ask the right questions.
Totally.
Some retailer's gonna say, "Give me a second." You know what I mean? And maybe hook you up.
Half the time I feel like I'm dealing with the guy though that's like the snot-nosed punk that's just like, I don't know, I gotta call the owner. I'm like, oh, actually, never mind. You know what I mean?
I'm not allowed to.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've never been asked that before. Guys, we're getting up at the 2-hour mark. We're not going anywhere unless you guys want us to go somewhere.
My goodness.
I know, Double A, do you
Babe, are you still there? I'll be home soon. Babe.
We're keeping him. We're hanging on to him. Double A, anything that you majorly wanted to hit on or touch on, Lamar, that we didn't already discuss?
think I got what I wanted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Mario, how about you? Is there anything that you wanted to talk about or say before we get close to wrapping it up? We're not going to wrap it up right this second, but and Gabe, I hope we answered your question. If we didn't, please, great questions tonight, by the way.
We'll talk more, Gabe.
Okay.
Gabe,
Yeah, and I really love that, man. Thank you for
Gabe's
joining
great.
and asking those great questions. But Mario, how about you? Is there anything that you felt like you
One
wanted
thing I'd
to?
like to briefly touch on, and
Sure.
and you guys know about this, is and one of the reasons that I chose to do this show towards the end of the year was kind of let everybody know where I'm headed. I mean, COVID has definitely affected business across
Yes.
the board, everywhere.
Absolutely.
I've been doing some online stuff, and it's always been I'm approaching that age where I'm thinking about what am I going to do as I retire, or how am I going to do this at home?
I don't want to hear it.
Am I ever going to stop? Am I ever going to stop, doing comics, and I don't think I have to, but I think
You're breaking my heart.
I think something's coming I'm gonna have to evolve and morph into something else again. You know what I mean? I
Okay.
think my year is coming up, and it could be months, it could be half a year, but I think we're on that road. And I did that at the beginning of the year. I posted that on my Facebook.
I
Just
saw
to
that.
kind of
The end game.
there you go. And I think that's what I'm approaching. I want to spend more time with my beautiful wife. You know what I mean? Y'all know my wife, Michelle.
Shout out to
And
Michelle.
She's the best. And she's my little Native American warrior princess. You know what I mean? She's just the best. She's amazing. She's amazing.
When
I love
you're
you, babe.
doing what this guy does for
I
a
love
living,
you.
you've got to have a good, strong woman behind
20
you.
years, she's been by my side.
Yeah.
I've
I've seen her working shows with
a
you.
lot of times she's
Yes, I
the
have.
reason
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's that strong. And, she gave me 2 amazing boys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's an amazing mother.
Awesome.
I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing without her. So I love you, babe.
Yep.
Say
And she
hi-
works
say-
in- she
say
works
hi
in-
to Dookie for me too. That's my Yorkie.
Oh, yeah, that's cute, dog. I see your dog. And she works with my dad, so putting up with him as a coworker is also a real
crap.
bitch.
There you
So,
go.
yeah, it's like, oh, sorry.
But
Sorry,
what's-
Michelle, about dad.
Maybe we'll do another show about that, but it's lurking around the corner.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As we approach, I think it's definitely time. And
Okay.
I will think about, kind of, diving into the private world of selling comic books in a
okay.
more
Okay.
exclusive, private way. Things
Yeah.
like this. I'm already experiencing some of that online, and I think it's something that
Nice.
that I can
Very
do
nice.
in the future. I'm not saying everybody should do this, but
Right.
somebody who's done this for 25 years already and is ready to rest a little bit.
Well,
and,
yeah.
and spend time with my family.
You've been through several recessions.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So,
So,
to
I
keep
think
your
this-
doors open during that time. Yeah.
And I have comic books for the rest of my lifetime.
Mhm.
I'll never run out. You know what I mean? So going home and just dabbling with what I've got and my workshop that I've built, and I think that's going to be what's in the near future.
Will you read? Will you read comics? Will you sit it down and read comics? And what will you read?
I will read them over. You know what I mean? Because that's what I do. My favorite things are from the past. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I don't get too often the urge to pick up a new book.
I was
you
gonna
know?
say, does that
There's
ever-
nothing since the old days of Blackest Night and Civil War and
Three Jokers, man, is worth
Planet,
reading.
Planet Hulk.
When they
I've heard of that. But
when
I
they
haven't had
used
the
to
urge.
focus on the comics
Right.
instead of focusing on letting the movies dictate now.
Sure,
Where you're
sure.
doing it with the comics.
I get
you know?
that too, definitely.
Yeah.
I think there are a few guys out there though that really do really great stuff. Like, well, you guys got me into this Jeff Johns guy with you and Albert with the Three Jokers book, and I was able to read that standalone. 3 issues, solid, great, beautiful art, by the way. And I mean, I would say that if they wanted to pick up something.
And I don't think it's over yet. There's still a little ways to go, but things are definitely changing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The cinematic universe is becoming the comic book.
It is.
For the new
It is.
age.
It
For the
is.
new age.
It really is.
For the new collector.
Yeah.
They're collecting
because
because
people
they saw
want to
it.
read Captain Marvel now, but the female version of Captain
Yeah,
Marvel.
right,
yeah.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
people want to read about Guardians of the Galaxy who never wanted to read about Guardians.
I love the original crew, man.
Yeah.
I love the old guys, man. Charlie 27.
Charlie 27, yeah.
All those dudes, man.
I remember being like, man, this team sucks, but that was just me.
But it's like we said, for a long time the face was Spider-Man, Hulk, Wolverine.
Yeah,
Now
sure.
it's like Iron Man.
Right.
It's Cap, it's
Right.
Groot, it's Rocket.
We've talked about that. The
It's-
power
it's
of the,
weird.
and that's good stuff.
It's
I mean,
weird,
it was
yeah.
that was a surprise.
Yes,
you know,
it
that was
is.
a really getting back to that question earlier.
Yeah.
That was a surprise. You know, they got really popular and
Yeah.
really
Iron Man was the
everybody loves
leader
them.
of the West Coast
You know?
Avengers.
Yeah.
That wasn't even the main Avengers.
So there you hear it here first, guys. The cowboy may ride away. Well, you heard it first on his page, but I mean, you're hearing it from the man's mouth himself. There may be an end game in sight.
And
I
he has
personally,
he has a gauntlet
Yeah.
on his finger.
yeah, it's time to snap.
When he's gonna snap?
I personally, Mario, do not want to see you go, but I do definitely understand.
I think when
needing
he
the
does,
urge
me and you
to-
will turn into dust.
that probably will happen. That happened. Yeah, but you know, it would just be sad to not be a place to come see you at. You could always go see you at Collectors Authority. We could always come see you here. So to think that option is not will be available, you know, it's a tough pill to swallow. But you know what I mean. I definitely get it, man. And I'm all about growth, evolving yourself, and definitely spending more time with your
I
family.
definitely still want to, you know, take in a show once we get back to normal.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it'll be nice to go out
Okay.
and see everybody when my wife and I decide to go check out a show. And
What's
I'll
like
be
you
on
said,
the other
this
side of the
looks like
table.
it is the next evolution, though,
Okay.
in selling comics.
It definitely
more
is.
and more every year. It's getting to this part now.
I don't think it's the end. I hope it's not of the brick and mortar store.
Mhm.
And while we're on the brick and mortar store, you know, I mean, if you guys don't mind, I really want to thank Pete. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah,
mean? My
yeah.
partner for
Absolutely.
15 years. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? My sister Lori.
Yeah,
You know,
totally, man.
in the very beginning, you know, that was the team. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And we took a leap of faith, and we started a business, and we thrived in a business for several years.
Absolutely.
And so if it weren't for them, you know what I mean, Collectors Authority wouldn't have
Well,
been
like,
what it
yeah,
was,
like
and it
I-
has been for 25 years.
Like I told you
Yeah.
guys, you know, that was like my home for Wednesdays. It was, all right, let's go. After work, you know, Art would drive me here, you know, waste some money, or spend some money, not waste, spend, you know, easily 50 minimum. 50
Yeah.
minimum.
Yeah.
Just, here you go.
These guys saw me too. I'd be in that boat, $100, working my job at the movie theater, my first job, and saving up and wheeling and dealing with Pete too. And
Like I said, my first issue ever was at Collector's Story.
Yeah.
It spawned issue 1.
And we had a good thing there,
Yeah.
guys. We had a
Mhm.
great thing. We had good people, and that gets into something else that I'd like to say to my customers. You know,
Okay.
25 years of customers. You know what I mean? People from all over Texas, people from all over the city, outskirts of San Antonio. You know, we've met a lot of people. We've befriended a lot of people. Some people are like family now. You
Yes,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Things
absolutely,
like that.
man.
It's a lot. I've watched you guys grow.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
grow up.
literally.
You know, from being
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
some of my customers.
we always
had
think of like
babies.
always had the beard, but you know, you got to remember when he didn't have the beard.
Some
but,
of my
yeah.
customers had babies.
Yeah.
You know, they're grown.
I
They're
mean, I
grown,
was 10 when I started
they're
with you
grown
guys.
kids now.
I'm 33
So
now.
if
Yeah.
that's the
What's a
testament,
family?
if that's the testament
Yeah.
and the legacy that we somewhat leave behind when it's all said and done, I'm proud. You know what I mean? I'm happy.
Yeah.
We did something that people didn't think we were going to do, especially on the south side.
Oh, totally.
You know what I
man.
mean? And we
I was happy when I found you guys in the phone book.
We did it.
That you were down here where I live. I was like, hey, we don't have to go all the way up there.
So-
It was awesome to have a shop
So-
on the south side and still have a shop on
Yeah.
the south
So
side.
Pete and Lori, anybody, you can go to Collectors Authority on Southwest Military Drive. It's been there for 25 years.
Which I just did.
You know,
I
yeah.
did, last
Go in
Wednesday.
there for all your new
Yeah.
books. You know
And
what
Double
I
A
mean?
convinced me to get
Back
my
issues.
butt back over there too.
Good
so.
idea. Support. That's what it's always been
Totally,
about.
small
Support.
businesses, guys, and again, hearing it from a small business owner himself that went through it. Now, on that topic, I don't want to end on controversy. We're not going to, but I wouldn't be doing my job as a podcaster and a co-host if I did not ask you when in what year was it that you parted ways? Collectors Authority was
2011.
Pete and Mario. We always knew Mario and Pete. You guys were even in the what was it? The Unica. I have the issue.
yeah,
I sent you a picture
yeah,
of it,
yeah.
or it would have been the week. It might have been the
2010.
Weekender.
That was
Yeah, you guys, they
2010.
did a great spread.
The peaking years.
Yes.
That I'm
Yes.
talking
I
about.
own that issue, and I still have it. I'll post a picture as
San
part of this
Antonio's best,
episode.
you
Yeah,
know what I mean? That was a
Antonio's best.
milestone for us.
Yeah, that was
You know
really
what I
cool.
mean?
They did an awesome layout, like a comic book. It was really
Yeah,
cool. They
it
made you
was
guys look kind of comic
fantastic.
booky. But maybe people want to know that don't really know that maybe they just visited the shop and never really. I can't imagine somebody visiting and
I
not
was
having
gone.
a conversation.
I was gone all of a
Yeah,
sudden.
and then it was like there was a split. So why? There might be the natural thought might be that there were negativity there or something like that.
Yeah, it was all to do about nothing. I mean, times change.
Sure.
You know, things were changing for me.
Sure.
You know what I mean? When I started the store, I was by myself. You know what I mean? So I was married to the store.
Yeah.
You know, go. And then, you know, my when I met my wife, you know, my kids, things changed for me and everything. And it got to a point where I was already thinking, at this point, I want to move on. I want to do something else, or I want to go in a different direction. You know. So it just happened in 2011 that circumstances brought that to our attention, and so we had to make a decision. Well, Mario wants to do this, you know. Do we want to close the store down, or do we want to keep it going? You know, and that was a question I posed to Pete, and of course, you know, Pete's, you know, this is what I love. Also, I want to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So that was the decision right there. It was nothing more than that. It was just Mario moving on in a different direction with my family and my wife, and, you know, careers, things like that. You know what I mean? And it was all for the better. So that's where we made the decision that Pete was going to keep going, and I think Pete was pretty excited to have something all his own. You know what I mean?
Totally.
We were great partners. You know, it was one of the best times of my life. I love Pete, and you know, that was just great stuff. But, you know, when we went our separate ways, you know, Pete had to pick up his game. I had to pick up my game. You know, because together, I used to think we were unstoppable. You know, so we had that 1-2 punch. So that's what I love most about Pete. And so go ahead and go see them when you can.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they're still in business.
Yeah.
They're moving along. They need the support when they can get it. And, you know, that's what happened then. And, you know, Pete sees me once a week.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, I mean he's still married to your sister.
Yeah, he's married to my
I've
sister.
seen that you guys after the split would still do shows. Like you'd be at shows back to back, so that was cool. It was like a team up. So it was kind of like seeing the band back together.
We're
you know what I
forever
mean?
connected.
Yeah,
We're
totally,
forever connected.
totally.
He sends people out here to Traders Village for me. You know, when it's new books, I don't do new books. I send them to my brother-in-law. I say, you know, Collectors Authority, South Side, right by the river. Go see him, man.
Absolutely.
You know, so we still, you know, cover each other's back, watch each other's back.
No,
we love each other.
Y'all always done that. I've always seen that about you too. That you guys always kind of stick with there. Sorry guys, I'm sorry moving things around. We did get a comment that I read real quick that they couldn't hear us. So I apologize
Jason
if anybody else
from
couldn't
Hondo,
hear us.
Texas.
Yeah. Thank you, Jason, for being here with us on the Facebook Live. But I did not know that anybody couldn't hear us. I apologize if anybody couldn't. We're getting a lot more wind out here now and things like that
it's
too.
Supposed to be 45 miles an hour.
Yeah,
I told you it was coming.
It was coming. And it's getting cold too.
Yeah.
So Mario, I want to thank you for clearing that up. And anybody that had always wondered and wanted to answer that question, I actually asked you beforehand if we could ask you that question, and we said that was cool. But I did want to bring up to anybody here that wanted to know, you know, why is there no more Mario Pete at Collectors Authority? Well, now you know your answer. No bad blood, nothing like that. Aaron says he can't hear us. Thank you, Aaron. But it was just a mutual, amicable agreement. So great. We're glad to hear it.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mario, that you might want to say?
Want to invite everybody to come out to Traders Village.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Come on out.
When I started here at Traders Village, they gave me a new home. I appreciate it. I want to thank Rudy, Brian, Sandra, everybody at the front office for being so good to me for 10 years I've been here.
Yeah,
You know?
wow. A
But,
decade.
You know, yeah, and you guys seen what I've built
Yes.
here. You know, I'm
Yes.
pretty proud of
Yes,
it.
it's gorgeous.
Pretty proud of
Yes.
it.
I love it here.
15th Street rocks.
Yes,
You
it
know what I
does.
mean? The stores
And
are
getting
here.
better and better
Yeah.
and better with the
But-
addition of Toy Matrix.
Yes.
And you know
If you
what I
do
mean?
want to start your own business, though, this is a place to do it. You know what I mean? You can do whatever you want out here. You know, so if you got that itch to hustle and you come out and do your own thing, Traders Village is a good place for you. So
I'm gonna do it right now. Throw my name in the hat. Mario's Willy Wonka. I want the chocolate factory. Starting to GoFundMe. I need a little cash flow, y'all. Hook up your brother, CM Chuck. The new, potentially, I don't know. Maybe we'll see what happens.
Like you said, I am currently, you know, pushing the store around to see if anybody would want to, you know, own their own business and take it over. You know, when I decide to walk away. So, you know, I built something beautiful here, and somebody can reap the benefits of that.
Okay.
So we'll leave it at that.
Don't be undercutting me, y'all. This is my house.
And before anything else,
Yes.
though, I do have some Christmas gifts for you
Oh,
guys.
it would be.
Now,
Mario.
I don't know if you got anything else to do or you want to.
No, let's do it. Let's do it. There's no format here.
Those are yours right over there.
Oh.
And these are yours over here.
Oh, we're
See-
swapping?
See the little bows? No,
Oh.
these are yours.
Oh, okay.
These are yours. These are the little bows. Go ahead and hold them up, and I'm going to tell everybody what
Everything
they are
underneath the
first.
bow?
Yeah, everything underneath the
Oh
bowl.
my
You can
God,
discard
look
that.
at this.
Now,
Mario,
First
Very
of all,
nice.
Look at this stack,
I'm going to start with
guys.
Adam right quick right here.
Yeah, do that.
This is for the man who knows
Just-
everything. You know what I mean?
Yes, he is.
This is for him to know more.
Well, I need
You
that
know,
because I don't know
This
anything.
is the year by
Oh,
year DC
nice.
Comics, starting from the inception of
Yeah,
Superman
30
Gosh,
all the
guys.
way to Blackest Night.
Nice.
To
This
Blackest
is
Night,
a
which is one of your favorite
slipcase.
stories, I'm
Oh,
sure.
Yeah.
Now, to go along with that is a
beautiful.
first printing
Oh.
hardcover. I don't know if you have this or
no,
not.
Man.
If you
No, I
guys
don't.
have any of this,
I
you
don't.
bring it back and
No,
we
no,
work
no,
it
no,
out.
I
No.
don't. have
That is a
Nice.
first print. That is a hardcover. That is out of print. That is for you, my friend.
Thank you.
Merry
That
Thank you so
is
much.
Merry
gorgeous.
Thank you so
Merry
much.
Christmas. You're gonna love that though.
Yes, I am.
That-
Yes,
that
I'm
you're
gonna flip through it.
Yeah,
It's a
we're gonna.
slipcase.
I
It's
want
a
to flip
slipcase.
through
It's
those
beautiful.
too.
Now for you, my friend.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
Let's start off with this little small one right here. I know you're a Garth Ennis fan.
Yes.
And I
that's
didn't
my
have
guy.
a whole lot of Garth Ennis anything stuff, but
Ooh.
this is one of the crazy
Nice.
things he's done. I don't know if you're into that or
I
read that
was
or not.
reading this and I got behind
But
and then I got out of it. It
The
was
cool
fantastic.
thing about this particular issue is it has a signed poster by
Ooh.
Garth Ennis.
Wow.
With a
Nice.
certificate.
Wow.
So I thought
Very
the
nice.
poster with the Garth Ennis autograph
That's
would be
awesome,
nice for you to
Mario.
have something like that.
Yes,
So
totally.
That's one thing for you.
Thank you so much. Look at that, guys.
Yeah.
The rabbit
Yeah.
talks, and it's about the Antichrist, and of course, it's Garth Ennis,
Avatar
right?
isn't for everybody.
Yeah, the Antichrist doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be the Antichrist, pretty much. So very
But it's all
cool.
about the Garth Ennis
Wow.
autograph.
Yeah, that is excellent.
I
totally.
also thought that this would be nice for you because I know you're a big movie buff and everything.
Yes.
This
Oh
is
my
the
gosh.
really
Look at
nice
that.
Oh.
Terminator's got silver lining.
Double A, look at that silver light.
But it
is-
goes
no, I
back
did.
and gives you all
Oh,
the beginning
wow.
stories of the Dark Horse comics that we all know.
Those
Dark
Horse
brought,
comics are
brought
good.
Terminator to
Yeah.
us. So this is
Yeah.
a beautiful hardcover.
Very,
also.
very beautiful. Oh my gosh, look at this. I cannot wait to read these.
And last but not least,
Ooh.
I know you wanted Kingdom Come and I didn't have it. So
Mario.
I got.
That's
I wanna
a great-
give it, this is my personal one, and I want to give it to you.
Oh.
What?
This is the
Oh my gosh.
Absolute
That's
Justice, which
That's
is
super
Alex
awesome.
Ross. It's an Alex Ross slipcase
we love
edition.
Alex Ross.
Yeah,
But that story is
The
just
heavy
super
duty
cool
book.
too.
These are also out of print. Can't get them anymore. Still sealed.
That's
it's gonna have
beautiful.
everything that is Justice, which was an incredibly drawn
It was.
book
Yes.
and everything.
Yes.
And I hope you'll enjoy it, brother.
Oh,
Merry
man,
Christmas.
Thank you so much.
Merry
man.
Christmas.
I really appreciate it, man. Thank you, man.
That's what I wanted to
Thank
do.
you.
That's what I want to do. So the rest is up to you guys.
I cannot wait. We also have a little something for
oh
you.
man.
We should have gone first because it doesn't compare to that. So, yeah. But I'm going to let you go last. But I want to give this to you. This is my Christmas gift to you. Merry Christmas.
okay.
And I got it right here at Authority Comics. Thank you so much, Mario, for that.
Do you want me
and
to
all
open
that.
this?
Yeah,
Oh,
open
yeah.
it, man. Go nuts. I want to thank Foxy Roxy, Friday Nighter Roxanne. She helped me rap. And when I say help me, she did all the rapping. So, you know what I mean? Employ someone that can rap good, guys. I'm going to look
This
at
is cool rapping.
I'm gonna we've got to go superhero for you guys. All right, there. I picked something Wolverine for you, Double A.
Oh, the Saber too. Wolverine Saber.
Yeah,
too.
I don't know if you have those issues, but
I do, but I like reading this in trade though.
Oh,
Yeah, you don't
That's
got
awesome.
It's a good
This is a big
story.
single
Yes, it
issue,
is.
guys. Single
Yes.
issues.
That's
So
great. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna look
Let's
at
see what's in
a
here.
little bit more comments while we're here.
Oh man.
I
This
mean,
is nice. I love you guys'
Yeah,
logo.
well, yeah, thank
Look at
you
all the
so
noise
much.
I'm making.
Jessica.
Is that a shirt?
designed it. Yes.
Oh
yes.
man, I love that combo, the black and red.
Totally,
This is
man.
beautiful.
I mean, now I feel like a hack
got my
giving
own
away
face
our
mask.
merch.
No,
you know
no,
what I
no,
mean?
no, no, no. This is great, guys. This is great.
Truly,
Incredible
though,
logo.
yeah,
Incredible
thank you,
logo,
thank
guys.
you, thank you, Jessica,
I'm getting
and
a
thank
cramp
you.
in my leg.
I know. Feel free to stand. Feel free to stand. Move things around
Move it
here.
around over there. But that's beautiful. Thanks.
Yes, man.
Thanks, bro.
Totally, man. We appreciate
Thank you,
it.
bro. Thank you, bro.
Guys, Mario Delgado out here, Authority Comics. It may be the last time to come see him, the last hurrah here. So make sure you come out. Also, go support Collectors Authority over on Southeast Military. New books, they're doing their thing there. You know, they got it. Between these two guys, there's nothing that you can't find comics wise. And believe me, if
Yeah.
you need something, Mario will find it for you.
I was saying, CM, this. I was looking for this really cool Batman cover. It's him and Catwoman. It was like a new book. I went everywhere. I couldn't find it. Collectors had it, and he had like a few copies. So I couldn't find that one anywhere else, and Pete had it. So check out collectors. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the last little bit of comments here. Aaron says he can't hear us. Okay, we got that. Gabriel Flores says he'll be here to pick up war as hell. There you go, Mario. Help facilitate a sale. Aaron says start it then. I think he means the GoFundMe. Mario is the freaking man again. Yes, Mario is super cool. Thank you, Aaron, for all those comments, guys. Again, if you missed anything on the audio version, please come and check it out on the Facebook version.
Which will be on YouTube.
So sorry about that, guys, and sorry about that, Mario. But Mario, these gifts are incredible. Cannot thank you enough, man. Thank you so much for everything too. Over all the years, I want to thank you for being a friend, being a mentor. You're definitely a guy that I think, if someone started an institution where it was like they help young men be good adult men, you would need to be on that committee, man, because you're a great business owner, you're a great friend, and you're a great business owner. You just always have helped your customers and been awesome about that. So we really appreciate it, man. You really appreciate it.
You took care of me. You spoiled me. So, and I can't find another dealer like you.
More spoils coming.
Exactly. Oh, but we can only wait. Guys, there's something that I like to say, and we like to say, me and Double A, and I think that Mario would agree with this, and some of the things he's told me that his dad told him and his mom told him too. But we like to say, if there's something that you want to do, a dream you want to have, you don't want to have a boss like Mario, you want to own your own comic book store, you want to be the biggest guy in comics on the south side of San Antonio, do it. Go try it. Seize the day. Come talk to Mario. Learn about how to do it. Try to become that thing that you want to become. Be a DJ. Be a business owner. Don't have a boss. You know what I mean? Don't grind it out 9 to 5. You don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want. Seize the day. And when you do decide to do that, it's going to take a lot more than what you normally might think. You got to do whatever it takes to do it. You got to get a business loan. You got to learn what that is. You got to start a GoFundMe. Start it. Do it.
Find a partner.
Whatever it takes. Yeah, exactly. Start a podcast like we did after talking to Mario one day. Guys, this has been an incredible episode for me. We're so glad that you're all here. Sounds like zombies are trying to get in. They might be.
I'm scared, dude.
Mario's got issues of The Walking Dead available here at Authority Comics. Guys, thank you so much for hanging in there. Hopefully, we're going to clean up a little bit of this audio. If I can figure out how to do that, it'll be all great. We've had a great time. We enjoy you being on the show. Thank you so much again, Mario. Can't thank you enough.
My pleasure. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate it. Babe, I'll be home soon.
Yep. Guys, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. You won't hear from me or Double A until the new year. Probably you too.
Oh, I will be open this weekend. Sorry.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing that up. I am going to take the first weekend of the year off and spend it with my wife and do some special things. Nice. But I am going to open this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Come on out. You want to say hi?
There's people you didn't see for Christmas, so you can get their gift then, and you wrap it up, and you can still give it away. You know what I'm saying?
I'll be here 10 a.m. sharp, Saturday and Sunday.
All right, guys. For myself, CM Chuck,
Double A,
and
me,
Super Mario. This has been
Traders Village
on a Wednesday night, just another Friday night, and we're out of here, guys. Good night.
Good night.